Need to go live on Insta.
I was going to do that soon.
Do we need audio? Are we good?
I don't think that's the
Look at this
option.
We're going to need to see.
We're
going to
shrink that down.
Hello, everybody. We are live.
Doesn't need to be that big, does it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Hello, everybody. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So welcome to you all. We have some viewers already. Hello, Zachary. Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us.
This is the first live stream that we have done, Q&A, since the release of Cosmos. So send your questions in about the film, about your viewing experiences of it, any questions you might have about the release or whatnot. But obviously, we're going to try and keep this live stream somewhat spoiler-free because we understand that there might be a few people who haven't yet seen the film. There's probably a lot of people that haven't yet got around to watching it. So we don't want to give anything away. So we'll try our best to talk about Cosmos-y things. But if you write any questions in the comments or anything like that, obviously other people can see those. So hello, everybody. There's lots of people sending me waves on
oh,
Instagram,
hello, Macaulay.
Hello.
Oh, look at this. We're starting to fill up. This is lovely. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. So yes, it's been, what's the date today? It's the 30th of November. So it's almost been a month, can you believe, since Cosmos was released.
Is that so?
It was released on the 8th of November. And how do you feel?
I feel pretty cool. I feel like, I don't know, we've worked hard for this.
We have.
And it's taken a long time. And it's been a real challenge. And here we are. It's out. People are watching it. People are enjoying it. Some people aren't enjoying it. That's movies.
That's films.
But, a lot of people are getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. And, man, that's a thrill. It's a real, I don't know. That's literally a childhood dream. We've made a movie and people are seeing it. So that's amazing. So thank you to anyone who's checked out the film and for all the love and support and all the amazing messages that you send us. Like the weather here at the moment in the UK is pretty bad. So when we wake up in the morning and we read through some of the comments and messages and emails and stuff, that is that brightens our day. So thank you very much. We've already got a question.
We do.
Off Instagram here. Hello, everybody who's joining us currently.
Zachary. Hello, Zachary. Oh, and we also have a
Sasha. That's what I was talking about.
Is there a plan for a sequel? Ooh, out there, straight off the bat. There is no plan for a sequel. However, who knows? Maybe there will be enough interest in the film.
We have been asked this a lot.
We have been asked
people.
a lot.
So, yeah, maybe.
What do you think would happen?
Maybe
that's the question.
Well, we've got to stay a bit spoiler-free.
Oh, we do, yeah, spoiler-free.
But, what would happen next for the Astro-nuts? I don't know. I think it's a very interesting question, and we're tempted. I mean, we're tempted to kind of draft ideas, but we're also tempted to create some kind of content that could tell a story after the film. We've talked about maybe even making like a graphic novel or like a short book. Maybe, I don't know.
Even like a little mockumentary, we thought, didn't we?
Yeah,
like a faux documentary, as if
like
the characters were real, which of course they are. We've all rooted, but like, maybe set in 10, 15 years time, and it's these retrospective interviews. I don't really remember. Does anyone remember that Halo advert? There was a Halo advert a couple of years ago where they interviewed like old soldiers, and they were sort of thinking back on that battle that they were in with Master Chief, and they're all going like, "Oh yeah, I remember this gun being a lot lighter." It would be fun to do it, sort of get 3 older actors who play the Astro-nuts, and it's like them looking back going, "I remember that night. Yeah, we were just, we were all dotty-dotty-dot."
See, look here, Alex has said he hasn't seen the movie yet, which is why it's important that this is a spoiler-free Q&A.
So no plans for a sequel, but we wouldn't be closed off to a sequel. But we'd have to, I think my heart would say, I think it would somewhat be a shame to abandon like the indie nature of Cosmos and make a bigger budgeted sequel. I think it would have to still remain.
It would lose its identity, wouldn't it?
Perhaps.
If it got too much money behind it. So maybe we could do a short. Anyway, cool question. Lots of interest. You let us know what you think could happen next. Zachary, what were the challenges on set? We're already behind with the questions. Let's go.
There's one here. Where can I see the movie? Easily, Cedric. The movie is basically available on all VOD platforms. So it's available on iTunes, Prime Video, Vimeo, Vudu, YouTube, Hulu.
Google Play.
Is it available? No, Vudu. Google Play. Yeah.
Already.
Sorry. It's available on a lot of platforms. And then there's this exclusive VOD window of about 3 months. And then hopefully it will be being rolled out onto some SVOD platforms like Netflix or Hulu and stuff like that, maybe in the new year.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
If you don't know where you can view it in your country, we have a little kind of resource website that you can check out. It's on our Facebook page, it's on our Instagram. Go to the link. But safest bet is it's available worldwide on Vimeo. So if you've got any doubts, just go to Vimeo. You can see it wherever you are. So we've got questions rolling in here.
We did. What were the challenges on set?Maybe we should pick a main challenge.
Okay, go. This is for Zachary. Hi, Zachary. Thanks for joining us.
Should we go with a technical challenge?
Yeah, let's go with a technical challenge. I'd say
the camera slider was the biggest thing I struggled with.
Yeah. Camera. Okay, because we were doing basically everything. It meant we were pushing in and pulling focus, and Elliot was recording sound or vice versa. So yeah, big challenge was using the slider and hitting the focus, but mainly the slider was a little bit rickety for us. I think we knocked it or something.
I think we damaged it.
We damaged it halfway through filming or something. We managed to repair it after.
Started to wobble.
It served us really well, and we got some lovely stuff with it. But yeah, we'd just get to that moment and we'd be like, damn, we've done that thing again with the slider. So also congratulations to the people who won the Canova sliders. I don't know if people following here have seen, but we put out a post with pictures. Thank you to everyone who entered. And it was just a real thrill to be able to connect with Canova and be like, can we get sliders to these filmmakers? Because we've got a big fan base of people, filmmakers who might find it useful. So congrats. We got another giveaway coming up, which I think you'll all enjoy. So
we have some more questions on Instagram. Theo says, congrats. Thank you very much, Theo. Someone says, hello, say my name. So
you try it and I'll try it.
Kari.
Razali.
Well, that's the second bit.
Yeah, that's his name. I'm going to say Carey.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry if we got your name wrong.
I'm going to answer some questions on here.
Okay.
And we've got some questions on here. So from YouTube, Alex says, what camera equipment would you choose if you had 20,000 only for that? Wow.
What, for the camera?
I don't know. I
think you could shoot on film for 20k just for the camera.
Yeah, you could.
I don't know why you would though. So maybe, if you had just 20 grand,
I would choose film.
I'd shoot film.
I think so. We've always said we'd love to shoot film because that's what we fell in love with, and it doesn't really matter, does it? Let's face it, the audience doesn't really care. But I think it has an impact on us as filmmakers when you're shooting digital or film. I think that's an exciting thing to consider. So, and also there is definitely an aesthetic with film, but digital is very good at replicating that. So, yeah, I'd shoot film if we could.
I reckon if you had 20k for the camera, I think you could definitely do that for the camera equipment. Maybe you're talking film stock as well there, but I think actually you might maybe Super 16.
Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be lovely.
Yeah, maybe that's worth a shot. We're also streaming on Facebook and Instagram if you're on YouTube. So that's to answer that question.
Alex agrees. He likes the look of film.
Chef Matt, mate Matt, he says, "Welcome, bienvenue, welcome, gentlemen." It's like Eurovision Song Contest. Good to see you guys. Good to see you too. Thank you for joining us. Cool.
Will there be a DVD for Cosmos? Zachary, there will be a Blu-ray.
Yes, there will. And maybe a DVD.
And maybe a DVD. So that's all coming in the new year. There's lots to roll out still about the film.
We've got a question on Facebook here.
Someone says Netflix series, perhaps. Also, Zachary also says, will you release the script? Yes, there is a plan to release the script both in PDF form and also hopefully we're going to scan the script in so you can see all our scribbles on it.
Yeah.
But also maybe in a little A5 paperback.
Yeah, made to print Amazon type thing. Like you can get those books up on Amazon where when people order them they get printed up, and that would be pretty swell, wouldn't it? I think that would be amazing. Christian Cordes, is that how you say your surname? He says, have you guys ever thought about putting together one massive masterclass on low budget feature filmmaking? We actually have.
We absolutely have.
And we we're pretty certain we are going to do it, but we're not going to charge people for it. We want to put it out to the community because, firstly, we're not Martin Scorsese. So, charging for our knowledge is probably a bit silly. No. But more so because we think it would, firstly, I think some people might find it interesting to learn how we made Cosmos, and I think we learned a lot on the way that we can share. So really, it also would just help to raise awareness about the film itself. So we're thinking of doing that, maybe a 5 to 10 part thing, not too long, and then sharing it.
Just the little hacks that we learned, and the mistakes that we made in production that you don't have to make because we did, and all those things. Like, I'd say one of the biggest things that we learned is, sort of not shooting ratios, but like how much you can get done in a day.
Yeah, for sure.
And to schedule for that.
Certainly with like a crew of 3, that was an interesting experience. Yeah. We're getting lots of cool things. We've got people popping up on YouTube here.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, brothers. Hello, Garth.
Here. Saw the film a couple of days ago. It was brilliant all the way through.
Thank you so much. That's so wonderful. Thank you for checking it out and for joining us here. What do you think about Prison Break? We haven't seen it.
Sorry.
We're pretty bad with TV. We say this to everybody that we meet. We're behind on Netflix and Game of Thrones and everything. So I guess that's what happens when you're trying to make a movie with no budget.
Not much of a life.
Not much of a life. Sweet. Okay. We've got
Look, any 17 by 11 by 17 poster print's going to be made for sale. Would love one for the edit suite.
Walker, that's so cool, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an absolute honor actually, that you would like to put one of our posters on the wall.
You want one of these?
Yeah.
We'll get you one of these. Make these available.
Yeah, look at the size of this thing. I got this for Elliot's 30th, was it?
There you go.
There you go. Look.
Oh, look, without the reflections.
Bingo. Maybe that's a bit too big, right?
Maybe it's a bit big.
Something a bit more manageable.
No, that's not 17 by 11, is it?
No. But yeah, man, thank you so much. What a compliment. We will definitely make posters available. We're going to do, we're thinking posters. We're thinking T-shirts. We're thinking Astro-nut caps. Astro-nut caps. Anyone want an Astro-nut cap? I don't know. And we're going to try and make it as affordable as possible because we're not really, I don't know. I said to Elliot yesterday, the idea that people want to buy a cap, a prop from a movie we've made is an honor in itself. So we're not really looking to make any money from it. So we'll see what we can do in making it as affordable as possible for
I'd like
people.
To get a 24 by 36 poster. Woof. That might be what that is.
Woof. What else have we got going on? We've got here got lots of questions on YouTube. What's the common focal length in Hollywood? That's a good question. I would say no expert, not a director of photography at all. Something in the 30s, I'd say. Between 30s and 50. It depends if you're shooting anamorphic or spherical. So
common focal length.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on the shooting style. I think if you're looking, I don't know.
I think, well, yeah, it really depends. Do you like long lens kind of depth compression, that kind of look? Do you like to be in there?
I would say,
good question.
Probably in the 30s.
I think 30 to 50. And
for like portrait stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you're going for like that epic Tony Scott, Michael Bay, stick everyone on a super long lens and make things look epic. And that's anamorphic as well. So you're dealing with all sorts of odd math there. But
yeah. It's good question.
I think 28mm is what we shot the whole of Cosmos on, but there was the crop factor of the black magic. So I think our 28mm lens ended up being about a 35.
I think 32.
So. Yeah. There's someone on here that has figured that out, and they've put that
yeah, they have. Oh, here you go, Garth. Okay,
85. Yeah, exactly.
Where are we going to shoot to next? Let's.
See, most common for an anamorphic is 35mm. Sander. It's almost like we know what we're talking about.
He thought it. I didn't. Eric says, Cosmos, great movie, period, lol.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for your support, your love. Amazing. I think you left us a review on IMDb and stuff. That's so cool. Thank you so much. Posters, lots of love for posters. A poster would be cool on my wall.
30, 50, 85, thank you.
Film Drive Production says, congratulations, movie is amazing. I had a watch party with the whole family. My question is, how long was the scripting process? And how many variations of the script is there? Firstly, a watch party.
Wow.
Man, if any of you guys are checking out Cosmos, please, and you have a watch party, send us a picture or like a little video or something. We'll put it out on our social media because that's
so amazing.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Wow. So cool. My question is, how long was the scripting process and how many variations of the script were there? Go on, you answer that.
Scripting was about 4 months in total. It was about a month of development with Xander and I coming up with ideas and doing all the development. And then it was 3 months of writing a minimum of 1 page a night. So after 90 days, we actually had a 100-page script, which is what the film ended up being. So 4 months for us. That was our second script. The first script we wrote took 11 months. So some of the things we learned on that first script we could streamline. Who knows whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, it took us 4 months to write Cosmos from start to finish. And I think there were maybe 2 or 3 drafts of it, probably 2 solid drafts and some tweaks along the way. Some of the stuff was changed during the shoot. Dialogue was tweaked, working with the actors, going, can I say this instead of that? But that's all pretty standard stuff. So
good question.
Good question.
We've had an amazing comment here on Facebook from Christian. He says, Cosmos seriously kickstarted me into figuring out how to make my debut feature film. You two are truly an inspiration of mine and to us all. Also, I'd throw money at that masterclass. You all deserve it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. That's very...
Well, we've often said, right, that we were inspired to make Cosmos the way we did by other filmmakers.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've always wanted to pay that inspiration forward, because that's why we set up all the Facebook and stuff and the Instagram, because we wanted to be able to share our process so that if people did want to use it as a bit of a blueprint, they could. So to think that we've paid that inspiration forward to you, Christian, it's been worth it. So we can all succeed as filmmakers together. So thank you for letting us know that, because that's amazing.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Keep us posted on your debut feature.
Do it. Join the Cosmos Filmmaker Network.
Yeah, we'll just talk.
We talk movies on there. You can find it through our Facebook page. And talk to us. Send us your stuff. It's cool. We love it.
Absolutely.
We love it. Robert DeStefano, long-time follower of our shenanigans. He says, Aftermath, what has happened since the film got released, and has it received positive reviews online? Have you received representation, more investors for future projects, more commercial projects, etc.?
Question, Robert. Question.
That is the question, right? What's happened since we released the film? Well, let's start with the reviews. We've had an incredible response from the film, from people. Actually far exceeded my expectations.
Absolutely.
I thought people might be like, yeah, it's okay. But people are really loving it, and that's all you can ever ask for, I suppose.
Squeezing a bit on.
Sorry, I'm off. There you go, Rob. Sorry. So yeah, we're absolutely thrilled about that. There are people who don't like it. I've said this already, but that I guess that happens. That's movies, right? It's very subjective. So we're finding there's a product in the UK called Marmite. I don't know if you have it in the US. It's like a yeast spread. That
You're not selling it.
No, I'm not really. But their famous kind of brand slogan is like, you either love it or you hate it. It seems to me that Cosmos is like one of those movies. You either dig it or you don't. But we're cool with that. We've always said that to make a movie that some people are going to love, you've got to make a movie that some people might hate.
I think, and for the people who aren't quite liking Cosmos, I think maybe they were expecting it or hoping it to be something it's not.
Yeah, maybe.
Their main criticism of the film is it's not what they wanted it to be, which is fine. I can understand why they might be disappointed in that, but obviously we can't apologize for making a film that we didn't make or want to make. So I think a lot of people think we were going to try and be a lot more serious with the subject matter and make like a very cerebral,
straight down the line
type of, like Arrival kind of movie. And although Cosmos borders on that subject matter, we wanted to be a little bit more like Independence Day.
Yeah, fantastical, fun, adventure, humor.
Film. So I think in today's world, maybe people are expecting, because the sort of the general trend is to go down the straight route, that the adventure genre is not so familiar anymore. So that's people,
they're digging the characters, they're digging the tone of it, and like, man, it's just a thrill to read that kind of stuff. So thank you so much. Have you received representation, more investors for future projects? We haven't received representation yet.
We're working on it,
but we're not sitting. We haven't actually kind of got that proactive with that yet. We're not going to sit on our hands and wait for people to come to us. We know that we've got to get out there and we've got to sell ourselves. So we did go to Los Angeles and we did have a couple of business meetings when we were there, all very exciting, but nothing crazy, and we are planning to go back out in the new year. We're going to write some ideas and we're going to get out there, get representation, and then start pitching. So I don't know. The next movie might be in America. It might be in the UK. It all depends on
Who knows?
on what kind of support we can receive. So that it's an exciting time. But thank you for the question, Rob. And it was lovely to see you at the premiere. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We've
Great
got
finding
some lovely people on Facebook. Hello, Simon and Liam and Natalia. Thank you for joining.
Will Cosmos be on Netflix? Hopefully. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
It will be pitched to Netflix in the new year.
Yep.
So there's this 3-month window where it's exclusively on VOD platforms, like all films, like The Joker, for example, or Joker rather. That's going to be coming to iTunes, and it will be on iTunes for a select period, and then it will roll out onto the other platforms. So the same applies to Cosmos, really. Like, not uttering those two films in the same breath, but you know what I mean. Like, there's this platform that this rollout. So hopefully Netflix or Hulu, or maybe
it will be on an SVOD platform within a couple of months. So we'll let you know when that happens.
Hello, Steve.
Javier, I think I'm saying that right. I'm not. If I'm not, I'm sorry. The premiere was great, inspiring, really. He says he went to see Cosmos in Beverly Hills with you lads to grab some inspiration. He left with more than that. Well, thank you for joining us, because honestly, that event would have been nothing if it was just us lot sitting there in a chair on our own. So to have an audience there and to have people to join us and to interact with and have a blast with, it made the whole thing super special. So thank you for making the effort to come and join us. That was a moment for us. It's a Hollywood premiere. It's just insane. It's mad. So thank you, and we're glad you enjoyed it and got some inspiration from it. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. We have a question from Frank here, who we've actually
Frank.
Hello, Frank. Hola, rather.
Oh yeah.
Frank,
I've got to remember.
No, we'll never remember the Spanish that Frank taught us. But he asks, other than VFX, what would you have done differently if you had a bigger budget? It's a great question.
That is a good question. I think. I think you could expand the world, maybe, but then it's the classic thing, isn't it? Where sometimes that's not really needed. Like, maybe I'd have been tempted to have some kind of stuff for those who haven't seen it. I'm going to kind of skirt around things, but we have another character in the film who's on the end of the phone, and maybe I would have cut there. We could have had some nice production value to where that character is, and made that quite exciting. And I think you'd throw in. You just chuck a bit more production value into it, really. But I don't think you'd want to step too far away from the film as what it is, because then it just doesn't. It loses what it is, doesn't it? Loses its identity.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, it is what it is, really. And
I honestly don't know.
I guess you just make the film with a little bit more polish.
Yeah, I think so.
You'd have more people to help you.
Yeah. Definitely.
Have more opinions on set and all that sort of
Make
stuff.
it quicker. That's what you'd do. It wouldn't take 5 years.
The negative people won't understand the process of dreaming and putting that dream out there with all the hard work and passion. You're not wrong, Ranveer.
Thank you, Ranveer. Alex on YouTube says, if I don't know, for example, a movie or short, whatever, and I like his look and want to reproduce it more similar with less budget, but I discover it was made, for example, with 100K cameras.
Right. If you want to recreate a look, basically.
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Ignore what it's shot on.
Make sure you stay in frame.
Sorry, I'm drifting. Ignore what it's shot on. Honestly, that sounds like a cop out. It's not. You can make an iPhone look really, really very good. I think like 80% of like how a film looks is like how it's lit and how it's shot. And I think the rest, or maybe a little bit less, but like the rest is the camera and the lenses. And actually, I'd argue really the lenses. So, with the Blackmagic, we stuck an old vintage lens on the front and it looked really nice. And we set it at night so we could control the lighting and do some creative stuff with that. And we tried to be creative with how we shot it, with push-ins and blocking and all sorts. So I wouldn't worry that it's shot on like an expensive camera. It's it doesn't. If you had that camera, it wouldn't suddenly mean that you could shoot it the same way. So just try and
I'd say if you want to recreate
lighting.
the look, look at the lighting primarily.
Yeah. And the sound as well. Like the sound really informs what you see.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's important.
What a question here. Is Avid Media Composer good for student editors? I guess so. I don't use Avid Media Composer, but I think all editing platforms are good. We use Final Cut, but we also have DaVinci Resolve, the free version that we sort of play around with. So
Avid is like industry standard, I guess. So yeah, I'd say that's probably a good place to go. But if you can't afford it, just use DaVinci or whatever you can get your hands on. Rob Roy, can't wait to see this. I'm an indie filmmaker working on a feature shot with the BMPCC. and the BMPCC 4K.
Oh,
Watch
wow.
the making of. Brilliant. Well, good luck, Rob. Get in touch. Send us a message. We'd love to hear
Show
about
us
your
stuff. I'd
stuff.
love to see what you're doing.
Definitely, definitely. Let's switch to another platform here for a sec because we're just answering YouTube.
Would you do anything differently? Simon Edwards. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Simon. Would you do anything differently if you're making Cosmos again?
I think if we were to do it again now, if we were to start again, then I think we would probably tell a slightly different story because we've changed from who we, when we wrote Cosmos. I was 25 and you were 22, so we've changed a lot and we've been through different things since then. So the story would probably change. And if we had to do it again, we would probably make it in a different way. But I think if we were to have our time again and we were to make, if we were to travel back in time and have to make Cosmos again, I'm not sure I'd do anything different.
No. I think, well, actually, I would. Here's the thing, and I think this is quite useful for people, is we have literally made this movie with no money. It's been 99% of this film has just been Elliot and I sitting in a room working really hard for years. And I would urge people to definitely make their movie and make it happen however they can. But I would also say, do get a bit of money behind you. Even if it's just a few £1,000s, even if it's a Kickstarter, don't let it be something that stops you from making a movie if you can't get hold of it. But if you could get some money, by all means get it, because it's going to help you. It's going to make things move quicker. You're going to be able to kind of split the workload, all sorts. So I'd say that we did it and it's possible, but it was hard. And actually, I think you can make it easier on yourself by even just having a very small budget would be probably advisable.
Absolutely.
Christian says, last question I'll bug you with. Don't worry about bugging us, Christian. This is cool. If you two could have any one of your favorite filmmakers sit and watch your movie, or a favorite reviewer, who would you pick?
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. If any of you guys know Steven Spielberg,
if you're watching,
Steven, could you watch Cosmos? We love Spielberg. We've talked about it on Q&As before. I think he's an absolute master of blocking and storytelling. We love it. Love. And actually, Cosmos is like a bit of a love letter to the types of films we grew up on, and many of those were Spielberg either directed or produced. So, wow, if any filmmaker in the world we could get it to, Steven Spielberg would be the one. I think he'd dig it. I think he'd put his feet up, he'd grab his cup of coffee, and at the end he'd have a chuckle and he'd go,
that was fun.
That was cool. I hope
I think he's that kind of guy. I think he's
just...
He's up for just having a fun time, and that's all we wanted people. We didn't want people to sit there and go, what's the message here? We just wanted people to enjoy it.
Have fun. Brendan says, "What's up, Brendan?" That's my question to you. What's up, Ben? Did you build all your equipment?
No, not all of it.
Do you mean props or do you mean camera equipment? Let's answer both of those.
Well, props, yes. Camera equipment, no.
So props, tables, computer screens.
We did build the computer screens.
No, what's on the screen.
Oh, right.
Sorry. Yeah, good clarification there. So tables, the stuff that's on the computer screens, the little scroller thing. There's a cool story here. That's some Wi-Fi router that I cut a hole in. And then what I did was we wanted to have some kind of visual element, something moving on the thing. And we didn't want to have to do that in post because, we had enough to do. So I got an old iPhone and I made an animation and I turned it into a GIF and I uploaded it. And then I saved it onto the iPhone and then we put it on the iPhone and we said, don't lock the screen ever. Stuck it in this thing with a little window in it, put a scroller wheel on it.
Job done.
That's how you can make your own.
The wheel, the scroller wheel was a tape head. Wasn't it from inside a VCR?
Yeah, it was on
the jog wheel.
Yeah, the jog wheel on a VCR. Have on a VCR. Yeah, man. So and then equipment in terms of cameras, we made the camera rig, and that's it really. I don't think we made anything else.
No, we used a wheelchair,
bits of
cardboard, dolly every now and then.
Yeah.
Sometimes we borrowed a dolly off a friend.
We propped up our slider on paint bots.
We did do that.
That was cool. So whatever it takes, guys. I'm going to answer one more question from Facebook, and then we'll hop on elsewhere because there's lots of questions coming in. What gave you guys the idea to make Cosmos? Go.
We had a short film idea, didn't we?
We did.
About a astronomer who was listening to space, and found a signal.
Yeah.
And eventually we, instead of making that short, we made a different short. But then when it came time to writing a feature film, we thought, hey, I wonder if we can dig out that idea of a guy listening to space and turn that into maybe 3 guys listening to space, or 3 people listening to space, and they discover something. We were inspired heavily. For years, we did documentaries about NASA, specifically the Apollo program. And Xander and I found ourselves as inspired by the ground teams and the engineers, you know, that you see at Mission Control with their glasses and their notepads and at the consoles. We were as inspired by them as the astronauts, because those people were as instrumental to the mission's success as the astronauts were. And we actually had the fortune of meeting some of those people for interviews.
Amazing people.
And when we met them, it kind of dawned on us that in movies, scientists are often portrayed as, well, not accurate to what they are in real life. They're portrayed as sort of geeky, nerdy people who are the brains of the operation. But it's like Bond. We always say it's like Bond. Q is the brains, but he's not brave enough to go out there and be the hero. But in reality, in the world we live in the non-fiction world, it is the scientists and the engineers that are brave, and they are the ones that push the boundaries. And you know, we recently flew to America, to LA, and we were kept safe in the air at 30,000 feet because of engineers and scientists. So wouldn't it be cool to have a movie that put engineers and scientists front and center as the heroes of the story?
We salute you.
That's what
engineers and scientists.
Cosmos.
Sorry.
And also, you did, it's no problem. And to just let people know that science and astronomy, they're very, very cool, very fun, very humbling.
It's cool.
Community-based in, you know, pastimes and professions. We're
going to hop to YouTube now. D-Raj says, will you be tackling Encounter next, or do you have something else brewing up? We are doing another pass on the script for Encounter. Elliot mentioned a second ago, we feel like we've learned a lot from Cosmos with storytelling and all sorts. Grown as individuals, we're older, been through more in our lives, so we think we can add stuff to it. So we're going to do another pass on Encounter. That might be something we make. But we do have some other ideas brewing, which we're super excited about. And when we were in America, we kind of spoke to a few people about next steps, and they gave us some advice. So yeah, we're thinking of putting together some new stories as well. So all in a similar vein, actually, to Cosmos. So hopefully you guys would enjoy seeing those if and when they get made and released. Who knows? Exciting. Chef Matt says, if you guys had the budget to adapt any novel you wanted, where's it gone?
It's high, right?
Oh no!
Which would it be? I think was the
question. It's going to be that. You answer.
Well, you're the reader.
What would it be? Ooh, any novel.
Ooh.
What?
Well, I was going to say the plain one. The plain ones.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking
Making
about.
Us look really.
I don't know what you're talking
Biggles.
About. Oh yeah.
Biggles. That's all you need to know. If you know what Biggles is.
If you know what Biggles is, you know. But we reckon that could be a flipping great franchise. They've tried and they didn't do a great job, but I don't know, maybe it could be done better.
Someone says here, don't say lighting is one of the more important parts, because I've seen movies or series that film outside with no light and they already look good.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably controlled lighting.
Still controlled, yeah.
There's probably some fill. There's some negative fill.
Diffusion.
There's probably some diffusion.
Yep.
They're still working with the sunlight.
They are.
You know, sun might be behind them. If you want to see a film, watch Lone Ranger, the Gore Verbinski movie.
Yeah.
It's very good use of daylight sources.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at any shot, the sun is behind the actors, and they shot with the light in mind. In fact, filming outside is a lot harder than you might think, because particularly on drama, you've got to chart the path of the sun and know what scenes to shoot when at what time of day. So although it's natural light, it isn't.
Yeah. To clarify, I think what I would say is that
good question, though.
Yeah, it is. To clarify that, I would say if you can't get your hands on a 100K camera, there is a lot you can do to make your content look cinematic. I guess that's what I mean. Again, if we took that 100K camera and we gave it to someone who's just starting filmmaking and they went outside and they shot on it, I guarantee you it wouldn't look like a movie. It would just look like.
Well, there's also loads of go onto YouTube and look up 35mm camera tests, because there are a lot of student films shot on 35mm, and with the greatest respect to those students, they're obviously
Well, it's a learning process.
Learning
right?
process.
Yeah.
But they're shooting on Panavision 35mm anamorphic, but their films don't look like Star Wars. And that's because the lighting is very much part of cameras and cinematography. It's light writing.
It is very fair to say that, you could whack an anamorphic, Panavision C series on the front of like any camera and it would look incredible. To start, it would give you an incredible foundation because it's this and that. But I just don't want people to get caught up with the idea that they need a camera to make something look cinematic, because they don't. Hi, Ferra Films. Let's hop to Instagram.
Quickly, someone here said, was there anything you carried over from Encounter? I think we left most of Encounter locked in Encounter, didn't we? We didn't.
Do you mean the story?
I think so.
Yeah, we did.
But thank you for your message.
Actually, there is one thing, and this isn't a spoiler, is it? No. So in Cosmos, if you haven't seen it, that's cool because this is fine. There is a satellite that flies across the sky, and we see it in the movie, and it's called the Goodman satellite. And the surname of the lead character in Cosmos, in Encounter, is Goodman. So
Alan Goodman.
Alan Goodman. And so we, because we loved Encounter, and we were like, man, it's a shame we can't make that. We were like, why don't we just put a little nod in there to that original project. Instagram. Ankit, have you had difficulty of low budget? Yeah, very hard. Very, very hard. Real challenge. But, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like, you can actually, the type of movie that we tried to make with Cosmos is not an easy kind of movie to make without a budget. You can choose a style that's actually more conducive to no low budget filmmaking. You can get a bit more handheld. You can do it more actuality, make it feel more like a documentary kind of thing, and you can I don't know, free flow. We didn't. We lit it, we controlled it, we slid the camera and all sorts. Slided.
What is your advice about a pitch? Well, I don't have much advice, Zachary, because we've never successfully pitched a film.
We've never pitched a film.
So can't really help you with that.
Maybe
someone out there can help us.
Someone out there can help. Please reach out,
Zachary
because we are going to want to go pitch soon. So we've got loads of people here.
We've got some great questions.
Sunny.
Hello, Sunny.
Harpreet, dude. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being at the premiere.
Where are your other films and shorts available to view? They're available to view on our website.
They are elianderpictures.co.uk. That's Eliander spelt Ellie and Ander. Makes sense. They're all on there or on our Vimeo. You can check them out, and you can see info about the documentaries that we made that Elliot mentioned as well, space documentaries. Some of them are on TV, Discovery and stuff in different territories. Some of them are on YouTube.
They're all on
Prime.
YouTube, Vimeo.
Although I will say, in delivery, one of the aggregators kind of messed up the sound on YouTube, so avoid YouTube. Go to Amazon Prime.
We have a question here from Roberto. Sorry, not Roberto. Robert De Stefano. Has Cosmos ever been entered into any festivals, TIFF, Cannes, Sundance? We have entered all of those festivals, Rob, but we were rejected for all of them.
Rejected.
We did try to get into many festivals, but we were actually flat out rejected for all of them for many reasons, one would assume. But we were trying to go to festivals to secure distribution, and then it dawned on us that actually if we put all this effort into just reaching out to distributors directly and just presenting them the film rather than trying to catch their eye at a festival, that might work for us. And as it turns out, it did work for us. So festivals, for anyone out there, I think if your film, actually speaking to our distributor, we had a conversation with one of the people at our distributors, and they said for very festivally, in inverted commas, type films,
that's definitely a word,
festival darlings, like very maybe social message films or character driven movies. It really matters to have that laurel.
Grown-up movies.
It really matters to have that sort of festival laurel or the award or whatever, because really in the outside world, trying to convince normal cinema goers to watch a festival movie is quite hard. When they can go and watch Avengers or Star Wars or whatever. But if you're making more of an audience facing movie, like hopefully what Cosmos is, it's a little bit more just like a crowd pleaser, then the award thing isn't so important because it's an easier sell. Like, oh, it's a sci-fi family adventure, friendly adventure. Okay, fine. You don't need a little laurel on it to make people go.
Yeah, they're sold by the kind of concept. However, if you can get into Sundance,
do it.
go for it.
Do
Because
it.
you know, do it. Because I'd be there if I could. We've got some cool things going on YouTube here. Matt says, next thing you know, you get a call from Lucasfilm. Now he's making an official campaign. Xander and Elliot for the next Star Wars trilogy. Matt, we support your campaign.
I condone this message.
I condone this message. Hashtag Elliot and Xander for the next Star Wars trilogy. It's going to trend all around the world. Film Drive says, yes, Chef Matt, yes.
Wouldn't that be ridiculous?
That would be the dream.
Gareth McCarthy says, was there a moment when you felt like,
we missed
what
one.
the hell am I doing? Every day.
Yes. I have a great photo of Elliot. Mid-flow, I think, on the sound mix, single-handedly placing 60,000 plus sound effects into the film. That's actually somewhat accurate as a number. I have a picture of Elliot where I walked into our living room and I found him with his head and his whole body just tucked into the corner of the room, just like he had slippers on, he had his hoodie up, he looked pretty pathetic.
Well, I look pretty pathetic anyway.
And I got a shot of him and I was just like, let's not forget, what this has done to us. So yeah, what the hell am I doing?
It's come at a cost. I mean,
it has.
It's hard to advise people to follow a similar path unless they're aware of like
the challenges
that you face. It's not like, yeah, go make a movie.
No,
it's really, there's a reason why people don't make films like this. And that's
again, we were trying to make
a challenge.
We're trying to make a feature film of a certain type, and if you're trying to make a short or a music video, or if you're trying to make a feature that is like, sorry, if you're trying to make a feature that's a bit more achievable, man, go for it. Just do it. Start, and stuff will happen. Casper Camera says, what's next for Cosmos? What's next for Cosmos? We've touched on it briefly, but Blu-ray, DVD, SVOD platforms like Hulu and Netflix. If you're in the UK, we have like movie channels.
Academy Award campaign. Criterion Collection.
That's right. Yeah. Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No.
70mm roadshow.
Yeah. The digitally remastered version. Yeah. No. I don't
3D.
Know. Yeah, lots actually.
Lots.
And some merchandising and.
Sorry, not taking it seriously.
Merchandising. We're going to put the script out there. We're going to do some more making of content. So
yeah, we've been asked a longer making of. That's in the works.
It is in the works. We want to do a proper documentary on that because we think, I think it'd be it's a cool story. Having been through it ourselves, I think there's A, lots to share, and B, lots to connect with.
There's a question here.
What kind of camera did you shoot on? Tanner?
Blackmagic Pocket Cinema.
Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, original, so just
Liam,
HD.
Will you make a movie showing the events after Cosmos? It's possible.
Well, we've touched on this briefly in the beginning of this Q&A. What do you think might happen next? Keep it spoiler free in the comments if you can. But
see, Christian, you're literally a legend. Get Cosmos to Spielberg. Let's get it trending. Let's get it trending.
Hashtag get Cosmos to Spielberg. Come on, everybody. We can do this. I mean, if I tweet it,
he's not busy. He's not busy.
And Christian tweets it. That's 3.
He's not like,
We're on our way, right? We're on our way.
He's still watching The Irishman.
Advice,
watching it for 3 days.
advice on writing and then prepping for a first feature. Okay. Crash course here quickly. I think don't write anything you don't know whether you can achieve or not. So we had moments in Cosmos and we're like, can we do this? Stuff towards the end, if you've seen it, we were like, can we do that? So we went off and we did some tests and we were like, that's going to work. Could we get hold of a garage to film in? Could we get hold of a location exterior to film in a forest? That kind of thing. Check those things before you commit. If you're trying to do it, no budget like us. If you're not, then yeah, I guess you can kind of write what you think would be a great movie and then try and pitch it. But
I would say my advice would be write something you really, really, really love.
Yeah.
Because there were many times on Cosmos where we had our heads in our hands going, this is really, really hard. And if we were making a film that we thought was like a savvy career move, but we didn't love it, that would have been really hard. But thankfully, we truly loved the film that we were making, and that made it doable. So just write what you want to write, man. Just make your film. Do it however you want to do it. Like, just don't let people tell you what you should or shouldn't do, particularly on your debut film. If you're working for Universal and they're paying you know, it's costing $200 million, then fine, maybe you might have to do what people tell you to do. But if it's your first film, make what you want to make. Tell the story that you want to tell, and we will all sit there and watch it. The people who it's for will come and find it. So
Josh, who's currently online, sorry to interrupt you, but he's left a comment, and Josh is currently doing a panto show in the UK. If you're not familiar, if you don't live in the UK, pantos is this big Christmas family fun thing that everyone loves. He's like the Prince Charming in Sleeping Beauty. And he says, and just a real quick one, I'm about to walk on stage for our finale, just letting you boys know I love you a stupid amount. Love you too, Josh. Always. That's Harry Knight from the movie. Josh everybody.
Adam says a question.
Yeah, we've got some things here.
We got a question here. We got a thing here though from Mark,
Thanks,
right?
Adam.
This is important. Mark says, your film really inspired my 9-year-old. As I told you on message, he was enthralled in the film. He loved it. Mark, that means so much because
it does.
I tell you why. When we were writing Cosmos and we were trying to start making this film, one of the things we talked about a lot was we want to make a film that reminded us of the films that we fell in love with when we were kids, when we were 6, 7, 8, 9. We wanted to make a film that, although appealed to the adult, you know, the sort of the grown-ups, maybe who were feeling a little bit nostalgic, we also wanted to make a film that was accessible and viewable by younger audiences. So to hear that your 9-year-old loved it is just, it's actually one of the highest feelings of success, the highest compliments that you could give us, because
definitely
to think that you've made something that we all remember watching movies as kids and how much they mean, to think that we've possibly made a film that means something to younger people is just the dream. Absolute dream. So thank you for letting us know that, because it's nothing really comes higher than that.
No, it doesn't.
You can get all the grown-ups you like, you can get all the critics with all their fancy words and their fancy notepads and their fancy reviews, or, you know, they might hate it, they might love it, but in the end, all I care about is who the film was made for, and the film was made primarily for young people and young-hearted people.
Yeah, man. People who are young at heart.
Young at heart.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting us know that, because it really means the world.
Tom, who plays Mike Webster in the film,
yes,
he sent us a video of him watching Cosmos with his nephew.
Yeah.
And like, it's incredible. Like he's so in it. He's hopping towards the end, and then, you know, not going to ruin anything, but you know, if you've seen it, he's jumping around and he's like desperate for it to all work out. And
it's lovely,
man,
it's truly lovely.
Much needed morale boost at the time. It was great.
Dave DeVos quickly says, so what did you learn from your time in LA? Well, we learned that LA is a great place, and the people in LA are lovely people, and that
we learned that Dave DeVos is a complete legend.
We did learn that.
Met him.
Let's do him a shout out.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Okay, here's a cool thing, guys. So Dave DeVos, guy that we've met across the journey of Cosmos. We were introduced to him by somebody else who saw the trailer. Julian, if you're watching, shout out to Julian, also a legend. And we connected, we Skyped with him. He's got these incredible stories from a life in the film industry and working at Universal Studios and all sorts of stuff. Really amazing guy. Anyway, he's just released his own feature film that he's also done in a very similar way, kind of a very a family-based production. His daughter's in the film, and it's a low-budget movie. It's called A Champion Heart. If you like, it's targeted at like young girls, but actually, we watched it, loved it. It is a heartfelt family movie about a young girl who kind of finds herself through training with a horse in like horse jumping and in competition, and it's proper feel good stuff. So if you're looking for a movie,
A Champion Heart,
this Thanksgiving or over Christmas, A Champion Heart, available on all video on demand platforms.
It's really good. When we were out in LA, Dave kindly put a screening on for us. He came and saw our film. He came and supported us at the premiere, and he gave us a tour one day of LA. He was our local man on the ground for one of the days, 2 of the days actually, and he was very generous in arranging some lovely stuff for us. And on the final, one of the things he arranged for us was a little screening, private screening of A Champion Heart, and we all went, and it was
we loved it. We loved it. So if you're looking for heartwarming sincere,
Champion
family fun. Check out Champion.
Mark says, hello again. Yeah, he kept saying to me, what's going to happen? And he was so excited at the end of the film. Ah, yes.
I love it.
Thank you, Mark.
I love it. Arjun said something. What did Arjun say?
Says, hey, so that's to Steve. Thank you.
Arjun, who plays Roy in the movie, he's on the stream. Follow him if you want to talk to an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Me and my brother have made short films in the past, and we know how difficult it is to edit and get everything perfect. It can take 3 hours to make 3 minutes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a journey, isn't it?
It's a journey.
I think only filmmakers really know what it's like for other people, other filmmakers to make their movies. So any movie that gets made is kind of a miracle. So well done.
Facebook, yeah.
Hopping on to Facebook for a second. Adam Palmer says, other than Spielberg, which other directors and filmmakers do you think influences your work? I would say Ridley Scott, Tony Scott, Chris Nolan, Michael Bay as well. Actually, a few people in some of the reviews have said like there were some Michael Bay type moments in the movie. They say that in a negative way, I think. We love,
that's a compliment to us.
You know, early Michael Bay, and indeed some of the more recent stuff. He's a master technician, and he knows how to make a movie moment. He knows how to like make that movie swell and get people feeling something. He's great at that. So I'd say Michael Bay as well. It's and you hear that a lot actually. Chris Nolan famously says like that he admires and respects Michael Bay's.
There's a great interview with oh dear, what was his name? That's a bit the DOP, Chris Nolan's DOP.
Oh, Wally Pfister.
Wally Pfister. Sorry, Wally.
Got you.
Where he's been interviewed and he recounts an anecdote about talking to Chris Nolan about Michael Bay, and Wally Pfister literally cannot believe. He's like, Chris Nolan loves Michael Bay, and Wally Pfister just doesn't get it. He's like, what are you talking about? Clearly doesn't like his movies. But that's Chris Nolan coming at things from a director's point of view. And I think if you're a filmmaker and you watch Michael Bay movies, literally, it can't, what he does, no one can do better than him.
Just to be straight, though, there are things in his movies that we don't like.
There are.
And I think many people share similar
problems
with his movies.
Yeah.
But in terms of like his skill as a filmmaker, it just
he's incredible.
It's masterful.
So there you go.
What else have we got here? Josh, we answered. Josh says, I saw a video of yours once where you were making something. Thanks, Ben.
Oh, maybe gear. Maybe we're making maybe the little dolly.
Oh yeah, back in
little chair dolly.
A long time ago that was. Yeah.
How early did you decide to gel many of your light setups? We were worried about locking into a look. Were you worried about locking into a look? Anthony, no, absolutely. It was 100% what we wanted to do. He says, how early did we decide to gel our lights and commit to a lighting look? Were you worried about locking in a look? It was the opposite, actually. We were committed to doing that because we wanted to be very expressive with the color, very expressive with the lighting. And it's a sci-fi movie after all. It's larger than life. It's a roller coaster experience, hopefully, in one form or another. And we wanted it to feel heightened in that way. We also were very inspired by like submarine movies. Cosmos is set inside a car, and we kind of wanted it to feel claustrophobic. Scenes, if you think about the beginning of Top Gun, where they're all like in the radar room, and it's like they're in some sort of Miami nightclub, but they're not. They're in a aircraft carrier.
When we talked about other inspirations, talked about Ridley Scott, Tony Scott, Michael Bay, he was, and Steven Spielberg. Like they all light boldly, and they light with kind of expression, and they're abstract, and they So we wanted to
expressionist.
We wanted to try and do something.
So we gelled the lights, and we went for it because also one thing we didn't want to do was like shoot everything sort of flatly and with no color, and then try and force that look in the grade, because then we felt like it would look like every other film that's currently being made that uses like LUTs and all this sort of thing. So we're big fans of a more traditional style of filmmaking where, before grading existed, filmmakers would have to stand on set and make decisions and go, I want that backlight to be blue. No, more blue. And I want that to be really green or whatever. And as a result, I think you get a very distinct look. So we would throw light around and color around, and we had a lot of fun on the day going like, oh, this could be red, or this could be green, or this could be blue. And it makes the whole process fun. So we weren't worried about locking it in. And as a result, most of our grading was done. All we had to do in the grade really was add some contrast, add some saturation, a few power windows here and there.
Yeah, we love it though. That's fun though, isn't that the fun of lighting?
It's painting. You're literally painting. You're going, oh, splash some red in the
thrill
background.
of
Look at that, beautiful.
The thrill of committing as well to look. It's cool. It's great. Mark says, did you design and program your own graphics for the computer screens, or did you get a third party in to design it for you? We did that as well. We did some sketches, and then I mocked them up on Photoshop, and then I created about 60 different animations for the screens. And then I got a very cool, talented friend of mine, Simon Worthington, who helped us out. Simon basically created a skeleton structure for me of like a web page, like an HTML web page. And what that then allowed me to do was like code in and program in these different animations. So what would happen is when we needed a certain story beat, I created all these different setups on the screens for specific story beats. So it'd be like, oh, Mike's listening to the radio and he hears something. Right, that's going to be radio renderer 1. And you hit enter into this thing and boom, all the animations would change and they'd all become relevant to that point in the story. So it saved us from opening and closing files. And it also meant that that the actors also had something to kind of see and interact with and all that. So yeah, we designed that stuff ourselves, and shout out to Simon for helping me make that possible. But it took absolutely ages to create all these like little vignette animations of like, you know, scroller wheels and EQ levels. It was
mad amount of work. And then I'd come in and be like, can you just like, can we make that number a bit bigger?
Can we tweak that?
And then I'd get boosted out.
SG Fee says, lighting is amazing in this film. Love the colours and compositions.
Oh, thank you. That's Steve.
Yeah, Steve. Cheers, man. Thank you very much. Right, okay, we're up to speed on Instagram, which is amazing, but we are severely behind on Facebook and a little bit behind on YouTube. So here we go.
What inspired you into making the film?
We've kind of touched on that briefly, but we'll try and say it again very quickly. We thought of a short film idea of a guy who kind of wakes up in a car at night, who's a radio astronomer listening to space, and there was something coming through on the radio. We never made that short, but we thought we turned it into a feature instead. And we also made documentaries before we made Cosmos. They were about the Apollo program, and we were kind of as much in awe of the engineers and the ground team as we were in the astronauts. We wanted to make scientists and engineers cool again, because they are cool. Especially you watch those guys in the Apollo program with all their hair and their glasses,
oh man,
and little microphones and the pens in the pockets, and it's
so
like
cool.
Go for launch, Roger, right? You know, it's just very, very cool. Proficient, intelligent people. So that was the hope.
About it. Like
How
we shot
did
on the
you-
Black Magic
this
Pocket
is
Cinema
quite good.
camera, Mark.
Yeah, we did the original one, the HD one. Anthony says, how did you find your audience in a crowded sea of equally driven bootstrap indie filmmakers? We're still trying to find our audience, I guess. We're still trying to spread the word about Cosmos. So anything you guys can do to help us with that, tweeting about it and sharing it would be much appreciated. But actually what we did was we recognized that actually a movie made by nobodies with no named actors in it is a hard sell for the general public. So instead of trying to target like general movie watchers, we thought, wouldn't it be cool, or would it be a good idea actually to try and engage with the filmmaking community? So our marketing was very much targeted towards other filmmakers, because we thought people would like to know and hear about how we made Cosmos with no budget and it's got distribution and everything. We wanted to share our knowledge. We've always wanted to share the experience and the journey. And we found that by reaching out to other filmmakers, they were excited by it. They were interested in learning more. And that's helped spread the word. They're willing to share it and blog about it and all sorts. So that was kind of our strategy. And yeah, if you're going to make something similar, that all hinged, to be quite honest, though, it all hinged on the distribution deal that we got. If we hadn't had a cinema run, I think people would have been less impressed or bothered about our journey, because I guess there are lots of movies that go onto video on demand or onto TV, much like Cosmos is. We got a very small cinema run. But I think getting that small theatrical helped us to, you know, engage with the filmmaking community. But it's by no means a sign of success or failure of a movie.
I've just screenshotted a load of questions because we've got 53 seconds left on our Instagram live. So
Smart.
it's going to go.
Smart.
It will shut down temporarily and we will reboot it. But we've had some questions here. Another question from Mark. Did you use a real telescope or was it homemade? It's actually homemade. Like that telescope is a tripod tube, a transport tube for a film tripod.
Yeah.
But the lens on the front is actually a visual effect that Xander did. So
yeah.
There's actually videos on our Instagram of the visual effects work that Xander did. He had to comp onto the front of the telescope when it moved, which was a decision afterwards in post where we did not plan for that. We did have a lens on the front.
10 seconds.
It didn't really look that good, so we VFX'd it.
We did. We fixed it.
And that was all Xander.
If you're on Instagram, rejoin us in a few seconds. Yeah, that was a challenge, actually, doing that. I've got to admit, learned a lot about VFX in the process of making this movie. Hopefully that will come in handy in the future. I think it might do. That's one of the good things about making a no-budget movie. Congratulations on all of your hard work. Enjoyed the film and admire your dedication. What lighting setup did you defer to in most cases for your film? I love the use of your gels. What helped you guys find your audience in the crowded sea of filmmakers? We just answered that. Facebook ads, definitely Facebook ads. We tried those, we used those. They're pretty inexpensive actually and quite affordable. We didn't have a budget, so we just put some of our own money into it.
Lighting setup.
Yeah. So what lighting setup did you defer to in most cases?
Well, most of the film is set inside a car, and most of that interior car sequence is lit practically. And by that we mean we had desk lamps on the desks, and instead of going, how do we make these characters look like they're lit by desk lamps, we actually just lit them with the desk lamps. So often we would just have a piece of white paper or actually just a piece of white paper on the desk out of frame, just beneath frame like this. And the angle poise lamp would bounce off that and give a nice soft underglow, a nice soft key light. We would light them with the computer screens. So we had iPads out of frame, supplementing the computer screens where we'd get like a big slab of green or big slab of blue on the screen of the iPad, turn the brightness full up and just put it there or put it there. And the other light we had some sort of somewhat motivated light from the back of the car where Roy sits, which is sort of like brake light, even though the brake lights obviously wouldn't be on all night. But he also has a little red lamp.
He does.
Which we thought was somewhat like, when you're working outside at night, like if you're a soldier reading a map
or an astronomer
or in a photographic dark room, you can work in the dark with a red lamp and it doesn't affect your eyesight. So it makes sense that an astronomer would work in like a red environment. So he might be able to look out the window and look up and his eyesight isn't so affected. So there's a bit of creativity with the red light coming from the back. And then really it was just some LED panels shooting through the back windows, giving some moonlight, balance to daylight. We shot on a tungsten 3200 Kelvin on the white balance of the camera. So any daylight lamps look really blue. And so that was the main setup. And then when we were outside, it was just basic 3-point lighting. We had 3 LED panel lights. We had a backlight, a key, and some fill.
If you're shooting something at night or in the dark and it's kind of dramatic, it's not like realistic lighting, let's say, and this even applies for that actually. You need 3 lights. You need 3-point lighting, but even then you can just get away with 2 lights. So you have a backlight, and wherever you put the backlight, just stick your other light opposite, and you'll get a bit of rim, and you'll get a key, and you'll have a bit of dark. We had a torch that the characters would be carrying, and it would bounce off. But yeah, at its core, like if you just keep a relationship, let's put my hanger here. If this is a key light, and this, you can't see that on Instagram. That's the key, and that's the back. Always just keep them opposite each other, and you're always going to get some kind of interesting results. That's, I think, would be a really simple light hack.
Absolutely. And then maybe just something to throw on the background to lift them off the background.
Yeah.
Quite easy, quite straightforward. We didn't really have the resources to do anything fancier than that. And actually the localized feeling of lighting, because we didn't have very powerful lights, the localized feeling of lighting in the film helps it, we think, feel a little bit more
claustrophobic,
realistic. And then with a bit of sky replacement that Xander did, gives it that realistic feel.
Right, we've got some
cool questions on Instagram. We had some questions about.
I want to just say hello to Asterix. Hola, Asterix. He said, before I saw Cosmos, I said, love you 3000. After I saw Cosmos, love the film 3 million.
Wow, Thank you.
That's great.
Beat
man.
that, Tony Stark.
Yeah, man, we got you. We got you, Tony. There's a cool question there from Mark. Who designed the props in the film, i.e., the triangulating antennas, which I noticed had car foot pumps? Lol.
They did.
They did have car foot pumps on
So
them.
the triangulation antennas are actually lamp stands, filming lamp stands upside down. There's a brand of lamp, dado lamps. They're quite small, nifty little lamps. So, they're dado lamps. They also have a foot on the bottom of them, which is known as a turtle, which is another filmmaking piece of equipment. And yes, they do indeed have the pumps from a foot pump. We didn't deliberately break apart a foot pump for that. I actually broke a foot pump that we owned, and I was going to skip it. And then we thought, hey, hang on, those look cool. They look sci-fi. Whack them on the aerial and ta-da!
Yeah, foot pumps.
So that's indie filmmaking. I mean, again, some people will go, oh, you know, it's like you've noticed the foot pumps, but you probably didn't know that the telescope was a tripod tube. Some people have noticed that the hard drive that the guys use is actually like a Wi-Fi card.
Casper's like, I thought I recognised those antennas.
Yeah, dado lamp stands. Everyone knows. You know, it's like a Wi-Fi card. It's like, well, you know that, but you probably didn't know that this. You know, you didn't know that the jog wheel was from a VCR. So if you look at any independent film, you have to make ends meet, and it's a bit like the most famous prop is probably the lightsaber. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Star Wars is actually the handle of a flash gun from a stills camera. If you know that, you can't not see it. It looks exactly like a flash gun with the bowl taken off it. It's literally a flash gun. They didn't really do that much to it.
Cool.
So that's indie filmmaking, and it's kind of cool to also be part of that lore of filmmaking where you're taking everyday items and just repurposing them into movies.
Man. So all props. It was just us again. Asterix. Also, I need to give a shout out to Asterix. I just realised it's like 4 a.m. where he is.
Oh yeah.
He messaged to say, oh, could it be earlier? And here he is, Asterix. He says, some might sleep at this time, or some may ignore the chat, but not us. Not us.
Yes.
We have a cool community. Thank you, Asterix. Thank you so much.
Dave said in the past stream, you guys are the equivalent of modern day Apollo engineers.
Dave, we are not worthy.
We are not worthy. I actually have, I think I might have broken.
We are not worthy.
This is how much I love the Apollo engineers. I wear computer glasses now because in the process of spending 3 years sitting, wrecking my eyes making Cosmos, I needed to start wearing computer glasses to protect them. And because I love Apollo so much, I have 1950s horn rim glasses to make me feel like I'm watching Neil Armstrong walking on the moon.
I think in this script, actually,
that's how much we love it.
Yeah, in the script, the opening, where we introduce the characters, one of the descriptions talks about the glasses, and it's like these guys. This guy looks like he could have worked
manning a desk on the Apollo program.
Yeah, so that's definitely an inspiration. Matt says kit bashing, the essential of indie filmmaking.
Yes, kit bashing.
Kit bashing for sure. That's what it's all about. Grab a foot pump, grab a lamp stand, stick it together with a cable tie, and you got an antenna.
That's it.
If only it was that easy.
It is that easy.
We've got some more questions here. Okay, so Rob Roy says his film is Damaged Disciples, and there's a trailer, so we can check it out on Facebook, which is great. Casper's like, pitch advice, spend 6 years on a feature instead.
No.
Probably not.
Don't.
No, probably pitch. Actually, no, we tried to pitch. Well, we didn't try and pitch. We tried to raise money, and that was hard.
What do you guys think about the movie Contact? Very cool.
Contact, like, I want to revisit Contact because I saw it a long, long time ago, and I was quite young, and I remember thinking, this goes a bit trippy. And actually, I reckon I completely dig it now because I'm a massive sci-fi fan. I want to read the book as well. So I want to revisit Contact because obviously there's a real connection with Cosmos.
Robert Zemeckis, isn't it?
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, it's cool. It's very cool.
I'm pretty sure.
Again,
maybe I've got that wrong.
Again, they make scientists look really, really cool.
Very cool.
Right.
Blu-ray.
When Blu-ray is coming out, I'll try and have another watch party. God bless your work.
Amazing.
Is there a project in the past that failed, and would you redo them? So, Blu-ray, I think in the US, I think it's going to be January or February. I don't know about other territories. Hopefully, shortly after, we'll make sure that happens because it's a bit of a dream. That are there any other projects that failed in the past, and would you redo them? Not really, I don't think, because I don't know. We're of the philosophy that you kind of grow as you go, and you learn from your mistakes. So if we change those, I guess we wouldn't be who we are now. and that will continue into the future with our future projects.
So there's a question up here on Instagram. Why did you use green screen over blue screen when apparently blue screen is better than low light? Yes, Zan, why did you use green screen?
Better for low light, is that right? I didn't
You're
know
such
that.
a noob.
I tell you why I use green screen, because there are more green sensor receptors in a CCD chip or whatever it is. What is it? Yeah, it's CCD in a camera. So the reason they favor that in the movies nowadays, and I'll flip it. Right. So the reason they favor that now is because the human eye is more developed to recognize more shades of green, because we evolved in nature. This is my understanding. We evolved. We were surrounded by greens. It was useful to be able to see different colors and distinguish. So we have a kind of a better reception of green by eye. So when they designed digital cameras, they were like, let's favor the green color. So there's more green information that gets captured on a sensor, and therefore you get a better resolution chroma jobby if you use green. That's my understanding. And the opposite is true with film. So blue was used because there are the silver halide crystals are more sensitive to blue, to blue light. So I think that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I didn't know that.
I think that's pretty cool.
That's why Xander did visual effects, and I just stood there over his shoulder and went,
also,
stars brighter?
the green screen we shot in, some of the green screen we shot in the studio, so it wasn't low light, so we didn't need to do that. And
look, Casper says sensors capture RGB, literally 2 times more green than any other color.
There you go.
So you get more definition.
Yeah, that's why they do it.
Wow.
That's why they do it. Thanks, Casper. Thanks for providing the
science.
That's why we used green. We shot in a studio for a day as a favor. Also, green blue channel in film is correct. Cool. Yeah, as a favor we got to shoot in a studio, like a TV studio, for one day. So that wasn't low light. So we didn't need to use blue. And also when we were outside, we could blast it with whatever light we had. We never really shot green screen in low light. So that's pretty cool. But also blue, I think they will use blue in certain...
They use purple now as well, don't they?
Yeah,
it's all kind of like Guardians and stuff.
Like I think they use blue as well if, for example, it's an outdoor scene, or if you're in a car and it's supposed to be outdoorsy, because there'll be a lot of blue spill on the set and the characters and all that kind of thing. I know if you're like a big company, you don't need to worry about that because you can fix it. But I think they do that thing. So interesting question. I didn't know that blue was better in low light.
Did you have permission for the car scenes when you were driving down the road, and was it late at night? We did not have permission for the car scenes. We just filmed them on the roads. But what I will stress is we did not drive dangerously. We did
angry.
Or angry.
If Nick Cage is watching.
We did a lot of cheating. We did film late at night. Some of the stuff, there was a period where we would go out at dusk.
Go get a drink.
Several nights. We filmed on some of the isolated country roads around by where we live, where there was just literally no traffic, very rarely traffic. And we knew that because we live around here and we know the roads really well. But on the more city roads, what we did is we actually cheated it. So 2 of the actors who are in the film, Tom and Arj, came round to our house and brought their cars with them. And at very late at night, like at midnight, when there's very, very few cars on the road, we would drive around the city roads around us, and they would drive at like 15 miles an hour. And our picture car, the Volvo, would weave in between those cars at like 40 miles an hour, which is the speed limit. And obviously on camera, if you're shaking the camera a little bit, adding a bit of dynamic movement, it looks like your brain goes, well, those cars that are being overtaken are clearly moving at the speed limit. And the Volvo must be zooming by at 60 or 70. Hello, he's having a drink. And that's how we cheated it. So if you actually watch that sequence again, you will see the same cars keep being overtaken and keep popping up. And that's because we reused and we cheated. And there are some scenes where there's some stunty type thing. That's all visual effects. That's just comping 2 shots together of cars going this way and cars going that way. So we didn't get permission. Because we didn't break the law. We didn't break the law, and it's in the UK. You are allowed to film on the public highway for free, right? You don't need permission to film on the street or on the public highway.
Good question. Thank you.
Think.
Yeah, no, you don't. In the UK, you're fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's not private property, good.
Yeah, and a lot of what we did film on was on private property.
Yeah.
So we did have that.
Yeah. Thomas Michael says, do you guys do the ADR and 5.1 surround at a sound studio? No, we didn't. We did it in our house. And Elliot's probably best to talk about this, but as he's just been babbling on for 5
no one
minutes,
wants to hear me
I'm going to talk about it. Elliot handled all sound on the movie, so we split the responsibility on set. But when it came to post-production, he recorded all the Foley, he did all the sound design, he laid in all the stuff, like he did the sound editing, and he did the sound mix, both stereo and 5.1, and none of that took place in a sound studio. So we made a tent in a room upstairs, and we lived near a main road, and we quickly discovered that he couldn't record sounds during working hours, like normal daylight hours, because the road was too busy. So for about a month, Elliot did Foley in this tent between the hours of like 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. He turned into a bit of a vampire. And I don't think he's ever recovered, really.
No.
I mean, look at him.
No.
So, yeah, again, this is, I don't know, hopefully that's kind of cool for people to hear, because, yeah, that whole film was all the ADR. What we did with ADR is we took the car, we drove it, actually took it back to where we filmed, not for any technical reason, just because it was quiet. We took it back to where we filmed, and we just did the ADR in the car, in the location that we shot the movie. And there are lines of ADR I can't remember whether they're ADR or not. Like I can't.
Well,
I'm really chuffed with the ADR. Like sometimes, how many lines do you reckon there are in the film that are ADR?
A lot.
There's got to be like 200, something like that.
Maybe not that many. Maybe 150.
150. Like there's a lot of things that we picked up because there was leather squeaks on the chair or something you can't quite hear because the mic's off. And I can't remember which ones they are. So really thrilled with that. So Elliot gets all praise for the sound, and the 5.1 was done on just this computer
on
type thing here. Soundtrack Pro. Nothing too advanced, nothing too crazy, but he did it.
Just did it in here. Set some 5.1 speakers up. Got all the. You can get an app that's just like a sound pressure reader, and you can set up your 5.1 as accurately as possible in these scenarios. And we just Sandra and I sat there and tried our best.
I think he did a great job. We've seen it in a couple of cinemas now, and actually, I think it's fantastic. So, well done.
Thanks, man.
What have we got here?
See, Mark asks again, did you film the car scenes in the studio or out actually on location?
Yeah, cool,
so,
cool.
If you see any of the car exteriors, obviously they were filmed on an actual farm that we family friends own a farm. The interiors, if you see any interiors in the car, whether the car is static or driving, they were filmed in a garage. We didn't film in a studio because we didn't have access to a studio, but we did have a very kind friend who had a triple garage he said, do you want to film in our garage? And we were like, do you know what you're letting yourself in for here? We want to be in your garage for 30 days. And he was like, yeah, no problem.
That'd be great.
So we filmed it in a garage. We turned all the lights off. We put a black cyc up. So if there's any shots inside the car, they were filmed inside a garage. And if you watch the making of featurette, you can see some time lapse from that garage shoot.
Yeah, man. I definitely check out the making of if you haven't seen it yet. We're going to do a longer version for make it a bit more in depth. Definitely buying the Blu-ray in January. Please keep us updated. Green screen digital filmmaking for chroma effects these days. Definitely. Thank you very much for checking out the Blu-ray. That's going to be an exciting moment.
Yeah.
We're also going to do we're going to do some commentaries. No, why not? Because mine. Brotherly love. We're also going to do some. You can go get one while I'm answering this. We're going to do some director's commentary and some commentaries with the actors, which we will probably include on the Blu-ray. But we're also just going to release for free online. So what you'll be able to do is get it on your phone or whatever. Get it up onto whatever device you're using. Watch the movie, hit play, and there you go. You can kind of rewatch the film, and we'll talk you through the experience of making it. I think that would be really cool. Hopefully, you guys will like that. Matt's making some Oblivion-related jokes. Very cool. What's going on? Oh, Casper's got a great story, a great car chase story. So I will read that in a second. It sounds a bit dangerous. What have we got here? I watched your movie at school and they loved it. Thank you. Cag Canalton. Am I saying that
wow.
correctly? That's awesome. So thank you for checking out the movie, and thank you for letting us know that people enjoy it. How did you all handle field audio? I ask because that's one of the things that I do, and I know how hard it is to run with the skeleton crew. It's very hard to be juggling all of these different disciplines in one go. This is just, I read that as well. Juggling all these disciplines at the same time. So, we've said it a couple of times, but the core primary crew for this film was Elliot and myself and our mom. And we had people who came and helped us, some very close friends, some who might be watching, Natalia and Mark Bayliss and Simon Worthington and Joe Bunce. They came once or twice, or in Natalia's case and Mark's case, several nights and days actually, and helped us out. But yeah, it was a skeleton crew. So how did we handle things like audio? We had a little audio recorder, the Zoom H4n, and we had a mic on a boom.
Here it is.
Here it is. It's got the Zoom right here. Nothing too fancy. Quite affordable.
This is our audio recorder that we shot the field audio recording on Cosmos. Just a Zoom H4n, standard. Everyone.
Yeah.
Probably.
We didn't use radio mics or lavalier mics or whatever people call them. We just used a standard mic, and we got it in there, and we did what we could, and then we did do some cleanup of it afterwards. So we'd go in, and you'd hear a bird or a car or something, and we tried to we filtered some of that out. So that was definitely a big help. But for the most part, I think we did okay with our location.
Bit of ADR.
Arguably, I think our location ADR, our location dialogue and audio is better than our interior dialogue. I think it was cleaner. It was cleaner, and it was
inside the
richer.
car. You've got the problem of it being quite boomy because it's a bit like a soundproof box. The car, when you stick a microphone up in there, you've got audio bouncing off the walls, the glass, the chairs, and you'd put a mic up and you'd go, it didn't quite sound right. So it was quite tricky, but I think we did all right. We're not experts.
Yeah, you let us know. This is what you do, right?
Yeah,
you're an expert, Mr. Mookins.
How rich did you get off the film?
Oh, can you not tell? We're rolling in the dollar. I mean,
look at this.
I haven't.
I can't show you this. I've got $100 bill here. With my cousin's face on.
Also, you may not know
Chris,
it, but
I'm rich.
We're sitting on office chairs. They're made of pure gold.
Not rich at all.
No, we haven't got any royalties from it yet. They will come through.
Who knows?
And
but we are rich in friends.
We are, and also I tell you what,
love. And
I would be keen on also sharing that kind of information, because I think, as and when the money does come in, I think it's important for other filmmakers out there to know, can they do this? Can they make a living off it?
That we will.
Thing. So we'll be very transparent about it. Hopefully be able to help you guys out with making those decisions. Asterix, thank you for your patience, because you wrote this a long time ago. How do you smooth the skin in the film? Was it a filter or an in-camera or in pre-production?
Just beautiful skin.
I mean, we spent a year finding actors who had flawless complexion. No. I think that's probably the lens. I think it's two things. The Blackmagic cinema camera that we shot on, pocket cinema camera, was HD only. So it's not super sharp, super crisp. You find with 4K, 6K, 8K,
see,
it's like you see every pore, every blemish.
This is the thing about digital.
Not very flattering.
The thing about digital.
Film's always had like a softness, a kind of smooth aesthetic.
Film is high resolution.
Yeah.
But it's very smooth. It's very soft.
Flattering.
So film, I don't know. They say film is like 35 mils, like 8K, but I think it's more than that. But they say it's like 8K, but it's not sharp. It's not. I mean, it is sharp, but it's not like you can see it's very forgiving. And actually, I think to get the equivalent look in digital, you're better off having a lower resolution camera. 4K digital does not look like 4K 35 mil, even though 35 mil is on 4K. But you know what I mean. So shooting 1080p on a super 16 mil sensor, I think personally, get the film up on your computer screen and look at it real close. I think it looks great, and it held up lovely on the cinema screen. And I think the lens that we shot on, being an old 1960s stills lens, was quite bloomy if we had it wide open. So we didn't. We had a stop or two down, and I think that did a lot of nice work for us.
Yep, definitely.
And nice lighting, a little bit. Flattering lighting on the guys.
Let's take some credit, shall we?
Bit of soft lighting on them. It always goes a long way. And they are obviously lovely looking blokes as well.
They are.
They deserve some of the credit themselves.
That helps. I hope that helps. Dave says glasses. That's what I'm talking about. You just need to get Leslie to knit you a couple of vests.
Yes.
That's
Gene
a nice
Kranz.
one, Gene. Gene Kranz. Failure is not an option. He didn't say that though, did he? That's just the name of his book. I think that's
Blue
in the
screen
movie.
Papa Jobby, absolutely. Buy Elliot some spray tan. Yeah.
Hashtag buy Elliot some spray tan. Buy Elliot some spraytan.com. I will click on that afterwards to see where it takes us.
Risky.
How did you contact Amazon Prime for the film? I have a web series idea to pitch for them. We didn't. We've got a distributor. They handle that. You can, I think, go independent, but
I think you can just reach out to
yeah,
them.
or you can get an aggregator who's kind of like a distributor, but specifically for VOD platforms, and they will just do that for you. I think they like you to go through formal routes, so I would advise doing that because I think you get in the door a bit easier.
We have a question again from Mark. Did you use sound off the camera? No, we didn't. We used an external audio recorder and a shotgun mic, as we've covered. But just to clarify, and he said to make this type of film and the quality for less than £5,000, I think was amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
That means a lot. Thank you. I think particularly when you get that sort of compliment from a fellow filmmaker who understands the challenges of filmmaking, it really means a lot. So thank you.
Yeah. Arjun says asterisk.
And a good makeup artist. She's watching.
Oh yeah,
she's always watching. Our mom is watching on the live stream. Yeah, sorry.
Mom's watching. Mom,
yes.
Mom was a hair and makeup designer
for the BBC.
She did
drama.
drama.
What a blunder!
And Mom was there, and she did makeup and she did continuity and everything. Wow, boy, have we just fallen for the director trap. We've talked about everything except for the one thing that's literally designed to make skin look good. So good makeup is also very important.
Sorry, Mom.
But I think also Mom would agree that super high resolution reveals that, makes makeup
she knows.
very, very challenging. You see hair lace, you see, you see like wig glue and beard glue and all sorts with the super high res, and it's not as forgiving.
Interesting. There was an interesting story recently where the makeup department, it's a bit of a controversial topic, but do you remember Gary Oldman was Winston Churchill in Darkest Hour?
I remember.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
The makeup department got an Oscar. They got an Academy Award for that. But I remember reading an article by a visual effects company that weren't that happy because they had to do a lot of cleanup work to get rid of, the prosthetic, is that right? Prosthetics lines.
Yeah.
They could see seams, and sometimes you get like creases. If you look out for it, sometimes you'll see it here on actors and actresses. They'll get creases where their wigs. I was watching something recently and I saw it. So it's hard to get around. But yeah, makeup is a big thing.
Wow.
Sorry, Mom.
We blended.
The only thing about trying to make a film when you're from Yorkshire, i.e. Barnsley, your accent sound like a right buffoon. No, you don't. I love it.
It's a great accent. I
love
it.
Use it to your strength.
It's exotic. We were hair lace. We had a Skype with an American, and they were like, the British accent's so exotic. We were like, wow, okay, we'll take that. We'll take that. Okay, here we go. What's going on here? I haven't read Casper's story yet. Overtaking me hanging at the back of the camera, resting on my foot to get as close to the ground as possible. No harness. Man. Right. Yes, I fear
we didn't do that. Yes,
we
filmed.
We did actually.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
No, we had a little limpet mount, suction mount. Yep. The great thing about shooting on the Blackmagic is we didn't use a GoPro. We basically used the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera as a GoPro. We actually also filmed a lot of that limpet mount stuff where we would suction mount the camera really low to the ground before we shot any of the main film. So, and we only had one camera. So if that dropped off and went under the car, under the wheels, we had no camera to make the film. So bit of a risk, but yeah, we didn't do any hanging out the back of the cars for any of the road stuff. That was all either car to car, on the bonnet, on the back of the car.
But there's some stuff at the end where Mike's running. Run, Mike, run. And I did hang out the car. Arjun grabbed my belt. And I hung out the back of the Volvo.
I think I drove the car.
You drove the car. The boot was open. It was very guerrilla filmmaking. We did a bit of that, and it worked out okay. Hang on here. He says, "I can't wait to read the script." Thank you.
We'll get it up online.
That's Zach, I think. hi guys, when you have time, please check out the email we sent you.
Will
We
do.
have received it. We will respond. Thank you for getting in touch. Very
Did you
exciting.
guys get some extra inspiration from Gareth Edwards?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally.
Monsters.
Totally.
Yeah,
definitely Gareth Edwards. Big inspiration for the kind of I feel like we went one step further with the extreme nature of how we chose to make our movie, because we were kind of like, well, Gareth Edwards has done it, let's just do it completely ourselves. So we didn't even have a skeleton crew. We had 3 people, which is like insane. But
And Monsters was made by Vertigo, I think.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the thing is, there's a budget that floats around the internet of, I think, about $250,000. $500,000. But Gareth Edwards has said that he doesn't know where the hell that
maybe that's
came
marketing.
From. It's probably marketing. So yeah, he was a huge inspiration. Obviously, he's gone on to do Godzilla and Rogue One and all sorts.
Oh,
so,
he's great.
Seems like a nice guy as well.
How did you go about finding committed actors and crew that were willing to work for nothing and for weeks and weeks on a very ambitious feature? Well, the crew was us, so we didn't need much convincing, because we wanted to make the film, and obviously our mom wanted to make the film too and be part of it and help us out and contribute. The actors was not a challenge for the actors we cast. We spent a year looking for actors, primarily looking for the right actors for the role, and we just said to them up front, literally on the opening of our introduction to them, whether that be via email or if we'd sit down and have a drink with them, we just went, look, straight up front, there's no budget for this film. No one's getting paid. We don't have anything to offer you. We're doing it because we want to make this movie. We love the story. And we're looking for people who want to love filmmaking, love acting, want to be part of a passion project. So right now, day one at this meeting, if that's not for you, just let us know, no problem. We'll have our coffee, we'll talk movies and life and whatever, and then we'll go our separate ways. So we just told people up front, there's no money. And actually a lot more, many more people than the 3 actors who were cast were just like, I'm totally cool with that. Because I think there are a lot of creative people out there who are just looking to be part of projects that just actually, yes, they want to earn a living doing what they do, and yes, they need stepping stones and all this, but they also genuinely just love doing things. And we've been told by the 3 actors, both individually, all individually, that it was the passion for the project that Xander and I expressed, like our belief in it, that was one of the deciding factors for them to go along with it. They said, like, you were so enthusiastic and so believing that it convinced them that, you know, maybe this isn't something I can walk away from. The other thing is that Xander and I, maybe more accurately answers your question, gravely underestimated how much time we would need of the actors. We thought we could shoot the film in 10 days. And we said to them, it will be 5 2-day weekends. It ended up being a 55-day shoot. And that was mainly because we were like, oh, it's a 90-page script. And if we do this, blah, 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 there's the maths. The reality of making a movie with 3 people, things move very slowly. But by about 3 days in, we turned to the guys and we were like, we've underestimated this. And they were like, yeah, I think we have, haven't we? And then we just said, well, can we just keep going until it's done? And all of them were like, we're in this. We want to make this movie. So I would say the short answer to your question is, if you want to convince people to be involved in your project on whatever level, even if you've got money, there are lots of people out there who will walk away from projects because there's no passion behind it. There are lots of people that can go and get money elsewhere. So passion, I think, is the key. It's not only the key to bringing people on board to work with you, it's also the key for your own fuel to keep you going. There are plenty of easier ways to earn a living than making films and being a filmmaker. Yeah. So if you're in it for the money, or an actor for that matter, no actor is an actor because they need money. They could go and have a normal life, a normal job.
We've said
they love acting.
Something we've said several times is we could have robbed a bank, gone to jail, served our time, and got out before we finished making consoles. I don't know whether that's true. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I don't know sentence lengths for bank.
Bury the money. I think you'd be out. And
bury the money. Get back out. Yeah. We're not condoning this.
No.
Could fund your next film though. Callum O'Connor's joined us. Thank you for joining us, Callum. Dave DeVos says, I want to hear you do a pitch for Cosmos in your best American accent.
Oh, Xander.
Well, Cosmos is a film about 3 amateur astronomers who go out into a field one night, and they spend their time looking up to the skies and watching the stars. And on this particular night, they come across something that is abnormal and extraordinary. And yeah, this is all about what would happen if 3 ordinary guys made an extraordinary discovery. This is bad. I always feel like if you're going to go for it, you got to go for it. So you got to go for like Cosmos is a film about 3 men. How about that? Anyway, that's my best efforts. Hope
You're just offended.
No, I haven't. How is that an offense? That's what Americans sound like, right? I'm sure they have great impressions of us.
Oh, no doubt.
Spritz with stiff upper
proper
lip.
jobby.
This is a really cool question here. If you can go back and pick 2 key department roles to help on Cosmos, who would it be? I think, personally, you tell me if you think I'm wrong. I would say a first AD and like a producer or a production manager, someone that would take on. So the hardest kind of thing I think with Cosmos, when you're juggling all these different things, is that like balancing logistics at the same time is a stress. Making sure people are there, going to be there on time, they know where to be. Checking your storyboards, are you on schedule? Are we behind? This, that, and the other. So having some people in those kind of logistics, people management roles would really, really help. So yeah, if you could get 2 more people onto the Cosmos crew, it would be those kind of peeps.
This pitch just sounded like it came from Tom Cruise. Love Tom Cruise.
I think I could do better, actually. I've let myself down.
Help me, help you. Is that you've got a bit of a Tom Cruise look.
I'm Tom Cruise. What does he say? What does he say? Like, help me, help you. And what else does Tom Cruise say?
You complete me.
Complete me. I love Tom Cruise. He doesn't like a bit of Tom Cruise. Yeah, he's great. If I could look like Tom Cruise, I'd be happy. Bank heist to make a movie. That's your pitch. I think that would be a good movie. What editing software? Mark asks. We use Final Cut Pro 7. Nothing fancy, nothing modern, nothing cutting edge. But we always say that people cut Oscar-winning movies on Final Cut Pro 7. So if it was good enough for them, it's
I think the Social Network was cut on Final Cut 7.
I think
Social Network,
Cold Mountain. I think
Cold Mountain.
Maybe even Final Cut 5. Actually, Cold Mountain might have been. I don't know.
No, I think Final Cut. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of movies cut on Final Cut 7, and I actually looked into this because I've been asked this question several times. And yeah, if you go back and look at if you Wikipedia Final Cut, you can see like there's loads of Oscar-nominated movies. There's a lot of Coen Brothers movies cut on Final Cut 7. So, we're not at the bleeding edge of the film industry, so it's good enough for us. And really, at the end of the day, it's just putting pictures.
500 Days of Summer.
500 Days of Summer was cut on Final Cut 7.
Good knowledge. Straight out there.
Good knowledge there, Jake.
Pluck that out of the ether there. Thank you, Jake.
Yeah.
What else have we got going on? What a pitch. Dave says, I'm laughing out loud. I've let myself down, Dave. I can do a better American accent. It's the pressure. Okay. I'm not designed to be in front of the camera. Okay.
Perhaps today is the 4th of July. What does he say? No. Oh, I've really let myself down there. Sorry.
Perhaps
it is fate.
It is fate that today.
Good evening.
In a few hours, aircraft from around the world will be engaging in the largest. What is it?
Oh,
we're trying to create Independence Day. It is fate that today is the 4th of July.
And we'll once again
be fighting for our freedom, not from tyranny or persecution, but from annihilation. That doesn't sound like him at all.
So great. Bill Pullman.
Oh, who doesn't love Independence Day?
Okay. I feel we're drifting here. The more Coronas we have, the less informative this Q&A is becoming.
More entertaining, though, maybe. On YouTube, we have here. How did you go about finding committed? You've answered that one. That's the Corona again. Hollywood black magic filters go a long way to soften the image. Oh. They do. I've heard about these. They take off the kind of digital edge.
Also,
highly recommended.
Black. Oh, what is it?
Yeah, it's those filters. The black magic. Hollywood black magic.
I know, but there's actually, what's it called? I'm just on the tip of my tongue.
He says, Javier says, better than Pro Mist for sure.
Yeah, not Pro Mist.
Other genres in the horizon, definitely more sci-fi. We love sci-fi, and definitely it's like family, adventure, feel good. Hopefully that's what we want to do. We like telling stories that inspire and excite the imagination. So I guess very not liking
Black Promist.
Black Promist. There you go.
A Black Promist's good.
Yeah.
Just
you cut me up there, man.
Sorry.
Mid-flow.
Sorry.
What's this all about?
Carry on.
I was going to say not to liken us to Spielberg, because you can't do that. I'd never do that. But if you imagine the kind of movies Spielberg made early on in his career, they were kind of like wonder-inducing movies, let's say. So we'd like to make movies that would inspire some people to think about the future, think about space, think about all those kind of things. But we do also have an idea for a film that's a period drama as well. So we want to do all sorts of movies, really. We just love cinema. So whatever we can make work for our next project, we will.
On the topic of Promist, recently, if you don't follow Dan Mindell on Instagram, the amazing DOP, you should, because A, he's awesome, and his Instagram's really interesting. He recently put up a clapperboard from the latest Star Wars movie, and on the clapperboard, it says they've got a half Black Promist in. And you can obviously then go and investigate the Black Promist and what that can do for like adding a bit of bloom. I think they've got it on because they've got stormtroopers on shot and it reduces highlights and stuff like this. Gives a bit of a bloom.
Cool.
Really nice. But there's something specific about a Black Promist that doesn't like.
It's not like your classic.
It's not a classic sort of dream sequence Promist.
Yeah,
They're very, very useful.
Demis Mamo has joined. Demis, thank you so much.
Demis.
Hello, how are you doing? You are amazing.
Brother.
He is like our brother from another mother. Callum says, how did exporting the final film go? Was your home computer enough? Mine struggles with 10-minute shorts, but its specs are still stuck in 2012.
Yeah, we use that.
We used an iMac over there, which I think we probably got in like 2012.
Yeah,
actually.
2012.
But
it's only HD, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
We shot
only
in
1080p.
So that's a bonus, right? That was one of the reasons we did it, because we didn't have the budget to upgrade everything as well. So
yeah, 1080p. No, it was absolutely fine. I think it
crashed a lot when it came to the grade.
Yeah, and a bit of noise removal we did. That was the main thing. And I think the final file for the film was about 156 gigabytes. That's ProRes LT. I think it was about 230 as ProRes HQ. So it's a big old chunk of video.
Thomas Michael says, do you pay your crew and cast royalties? We had no crew. That's us. And we have contracts with our actors, which, against all advice, we wrote up and we all signed after we'd made the film. I think that says a lot about
trust,
the spirit and the trust amongst the group. I definitely recommend doing that beforehand. That's what you're supposed to do. But we did it afterwards. Yeah, in those contracts, if the film makes money, absolutely, everyone's going to get paid. We talk to the guys, the actors, about this quite regularly, and we say, if it makes money and blah, 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 we want to make sure you get your cut. And they go, that's not why we did it, but thank you. And obviously they'll take the money because they deserve it, but they did it because they wanted to make a movie, and we all had an amazing experience. So if it doesn't make any money, then we don't mind. We've all gained something from it. Like,
it's not why we did it
personally, but also professionally. We've all got a calling card now. We've all got something we can use for our next step, and that's why we made the movie. We made it to take a next step in our career.
Callum says ProRes LT must have been incredibly helpful. It was. We actually shot in ProRes LT on the camera because we knew that would be a problem. We had 32 gigabyte SD cards. That gave us about 40 minutes of rushes rolling, as it were, on each card. If we'd have shot HQ or even RAW, I mean, RAW is like 5 minutes. It's just not.
We did tests, didn't we? We tested them out to see.
Couldn't tell the difference. So,
you can, but you have to.
It's not RAW. You can, but ProRes HQ and LT couldn't tell the difference, and no one else can, and no one cares. So, or at least more importantly, we don't care. Like, many people do care. I'm not playing that down, but I don't care as a filmmaker. I don't care about codecs and resolutions. I know lots of people do, and that's fine, but I don't. And so, but we did have to deliver in ProRes HQ. So we did up-res the codec.
On that note, right, DaVinci Resolve, free version. It has a super scale feature. Wow.
Yeah,
Man,
it's actually called Super Scale.
Yeah, it's called Super Scale. YouTube it, look it up. Shoot in HD and upscale that thing to 4K.
2K. Our DCP was upscaled to 2K.
Yeah, if you have the paid version of DaVinci, you can go up to 8K. Honestly, it's flawless. It's so good.
It's incredible. In fact, many people have said that their upscaled Blackmagic Pocket original to 4K is better than the new 4K camera. I can't comment on that because I don't have one. I've never used one, but some people have said or at least it's comparable.
Cool.
Someone says, "How did you find the ProRes handling low light?" Absolutely fine.
No
like
problems.
again, Dan Mindell, I'm sure, or Roger Deakins would go, "Not good enough for me." But we're neither of those. We never will be. So for us, it's just about telling a story, getting it out there, and we tried to pour as much light on the actors as we possibly could to help us.
But we did only have three. We had three LED lights, and occasionally we had a blonde.
I mean, you tell us. You look at the film and you tell us whether you think it handled the low light well.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Some people might go, yeah, it serves their needs. Some people might go, I don't think it's handled it very well. It's all very subjective.
It is.
But for our needs,
we were very happy. Garth says, I'm almost done with a horror script locked inside. Might get a good few pounds to get it started. And you guys are the inspiration to get this thing started. Thank you. Well, thank you,
Make
Garth.
it happen.
Make it happen. Javier says, last question, I promise. Feel free to keep sending questions. That's cool. Did you write a proper script?
We did.
We did. Elliot's got that there. He's going to grab it. It's got some props for you here. Look at this preparation, guys. Spared no expense. Am I right?
Here's our script for Cosmos.
There it is.
It's got a little cover on it. And on the cover, on the inside cover, if I try and get an exposure on that for you, it's got all our little autographs. Look, our little signatures.
Yeah.
And here's the script. Just
that's the full script. We did do a script.
It's a 100-page screenplay.
And he also says, shot list, storyboard. If not, what was your approach?
Storyboard.
Right, he's prepped here. We storyboarded the entire film because, again, we were doing everything. Look how it's white balanced. That it looks a bit nicer now. We storyboarded the entire film because we were going to be doing everything. We didn't also need to be worrying about whether or not this thing would cut together or whether we had the coverage. So another strong piece of advice. It's nothing new. We're not breaking any ground here, but definitely storyboard your film. Like, I'd recommend it. If you're making a movie that's kind of trying to feel high production value, even though it's not high production value, I think it requires a lot of thought, a lot of effort. If you're a super experienced director or DOP, you might be able to turn up on the day and just be like, right, this is the setup, this is how we're going to do it. For the type of movie that we wanted to make, we didn't feel confident in doing that. So we storyboarded it. It was an enormous help. We crossed it off as we went, and
we did 15. No, we did 1,055 storyboards. So we sat down. It was the very first thing we did after writing the script. We spent 4 months writing the script, and then we spent an entire month just doing storyboards. Xander and I would sit in here, put our music on, or play our music through some speakers. We'd talk to each other. We'd act it out. We'd go like, how about he moves there and he leans in, and we push in there. We just drew it down. Stick figures, very basic. Yeah. And then we just cross them off. And that storyboard, I don't know whether you've said this, it was the Bible.
Yeah, I've talked about that. It's also really enjoyable. Like, it's actually quite good fun. Callum says, oh, hang on, asterisk, there's a channel called DK Films on the internet. They're from India and they pitched their next series.
Oh, wow.
But they took 7 months to just reject it. What's your thoughts on this? Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, right? You put yourself out there, you spend a lot of time making pitch documents and trying to get in front of the right people and practicing a pitch and whatever. Sometimes you might get signed to develop a project and still get locked in. It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky line to walk, and it's something that we're moving into now. We made Cosmos as a reaction to that. We were like, we've got to just make our own movie. We're hoping Cosmos will help us with that next stage a bit more. Callum asks a really interesting question. He says, what are your thoughts on Netflix's list of approved cameras? Very selective. I wonder if they'd even consider Cosmos as it was filmed on the unapproved BNPCC. My understanding of that, Callum, is that is for Netflix originals. So if you're commissioned by Netflix, they give you the budget to make a series or a movie for them, then you have to shoot it on one of those cameras. If they're acquiring content for their platform, I don't think it applies. Certainly hasn't applied up to this point anyway.
So our distributor is going to pitch Cosmos to Netflix. Yeah, they are. So the understanding is that if the content is fulfilling a need, if there's an audience for it, I think they will.
I'll carry on. You get that. Yes, yeah. So that's the answer, I guess. I think that list is for commissions and budgeted projects rather than acquisitions. I might be wrong though, so correct me if I'm wrong. What we've got here, storyboard. Garth says he uses Cine Tracer. It's a great storyboard and previs tool, so that's useful for everybody to know. Did you do your own grade or did you send it off? Aaron. We did our own grade. Yeah, we did everything on this film. So yeah, with the exception of makeup and hair continuity, that was our mom, and the soundtrack, Chris Davey, super talented. We did everything else. So yeah, we did the grade. It was a really interesting experience, very valuable to have that experience going on. And I'm just going to close this and get some feedback. But we discussed the lighting a little bit earlier on in the Q&A. So we did a lot of work to kind of just bake that into the film. So when we got into the grade, it wasn't super complex. We weren't pushing and pulling color wheels that much. We weren't creating custom LUTs. We actually did create a kind of baseline LUT, but it was a very simple thing. It put some kind of greens and yellows into the highlights because we were watching a lot of film stuff and we saw that in the highlights on the skin tones it was kind of yellowy green. If you look closely, it's quite interesting. So we did that, and then after that it was just a matter of boosting saturation, boosting contrast to give the image a little bit more punch. A few vignettes here and there, but kind of straightforward stuff, nothing too advanced. Okay, we've got some really cool questions.
Coming in now. Mark says, are you guys interested in astronomy? Absolutely.
Yeah, we are.
In fact, last Christmas, Xander bought me a telescope, and we spent a lot of last winter, or the winter of 2019, looking up at the stars and learning constellations. And we have totally fallen in love with stargazing and astronomy thanks to this film. We had an interest in it before now, but wow.
Yeah, we love it. And we're also even thinking of maybe even setting up an actual astronaut astronomy society.
Yeah.
So for those who've seen the film, yeah, that could be quite cool. We could just make a little gang on Facebook and just, look at stars and stuff. That would be really sweet. Do you do your own grade? I've answered that. Very easy. Blah, blah, blah. Interesting. Casper, ProRes 42 is such an impressive format, regardless of flavor. I've used it over RAW many times.
Yeah, it's whatever works for you, isn't it, really? Again, I don't know. I somewhat rebel against this idea of being told what you must use or must not use. Like, I think there's been half a decade now of websites and forums going, here's the latest camera and here's the latest resolution and here's this and here's that. And maybe we've reached a bit of a plateau here where, how much better how many more Ks do you want? How many more codecs do you want? That's how I feel anyway. Maybe I'm a little bit older. Like, I don't know, I'm 31 and I'm feeling a bit jaded by it. Like, I remember I made films with my mini DV camera and my high 8 video camera. So to me, the fact that it's even in HD is a bloody miracle that I'm able to make a film in HD. So I'm grateful for that alone. I don't know. I don't know why you need to shoot in 8K. Maybe I'm uninformed, but I think it's cool that we can get to a point now where it's a bit like Super 16. It's lovely that Super 16 still exists because it's a choice. It's a choice. It's like watercolors and oil paints and acrylics or crayons or whatever, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass guitar. Like, there should be a variety of options as an artist.
I've realised that Cine Tracer, Callum's talking about it on Facebook. Cine Tracer is that basically game engine that guy's developed that's for DOPs.
Oh yeah, I know the game. Yeah, it's very cool.
It's really pretty cool. I haven't tried it yet, but I would have. We would have used that for Cosmos definitely. Also, can't beat a pen and paper.
Just throw it out there.
Check it out there, man. Just grab a pencil and scribble. Asterix is off. Thank you for joining us, Asterix. We really appreciate the effort that you've made. Johnny says, do you have a film in mind for your next one? We've touched on this briefly. We've got some ideas, all very vague at the moment, but I guess as and when things start to move with those, we might share that with the community and see what people think about it. We're very, very excited, and actually we think we've got a really cool story, but whether or not we can get support for that is the next challenge.
See, Jake says the only reason I want them to keep upping resolution is so that we can have a digital camera that rivals IMAX 65. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Does the Arri 65 not do that?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe not in aspect ratio.
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I have to say the Arri 65 is like
it's beautiful,
pretty incredible. Obviously. What have we got going on?
BMPCC is great in low light. I did some tests with my A7S2, and after grading, I could capture more dynamic range cleaner with the BMPCC. Cool. Yeah.
This is interesting here. Thomas says, how many batches did you guys have for your LED lights when filming the exterior scenes?
One.
We had one per light, but we used, what are they, the KS... What are they, KS... What's the LED panel lights that we use?
Oh, F&V.
F&V's, I think it's K series.
KS 5000 or something?
I think it's KS 4000.
No.
F&V. I'm Googling it now. KS 4000s.
Oh.
Wow, that's actually what it is. We used the KS 4000s and we used a standard like battery for the lights.
V-Lock.
Wow, like they lasted a long time.
We were careful with them though.
We were careful with them because our training was obviously before LEDs, it was all mains lights and bulbs, and they were expensive. And so, you know, we were trained that when you're not shooting, you turn the light off and you save the bulb. So when it came to LEDs, we weren't sloppy with the standards, and we would turn them off to save.
We worked with head torches and iPhone torches, and then when we needed them, we'd power them up.
We would get home at the end of the shoot, and we would have, you know, at least half the battery life still available to us. So LEDs are kind of incredible for that. I don't know whether all LED lights are as efficient as the ones that we got. And they were, again, pretty affordable lights. We didn't go out and get super duper fancy ones. We just got the cheapest we could find.
Javier, do you recommend ProRes over Cinema DNG on the Pocket? I can't really say because we didn't shoot Cinema DNG, so I don't know. But the ProRes for us was just a practical reality. Like, I think we shot 96 hours of footage on Cosmos, and that was at ProRes LT, and I think it came to about 2 terabytes, if not more. So if we'd have shot even ProRes HQ, we'd have been talking 4 terabytes, and if we'd have shot Cinema DNG, then I don't know. I'm just not sure we would have been able to make a feature film with the gear that we had, with the equipment, computer equipment that we had with DNGs. No. Maybe if you're making a little showreel piece or a camera test or a short film, fine. But the practicalities of making a feature with what we had, and like even then Xander having to do the visual effects on that and all sorts, like he'd have to do, I could give him ProRes LT exports for him to do the visual effects on, and it was all standard. Like, would I have to give him Cinema DNGs and then he'd have to work to this? I don't know. We don't know. So we didn't have that pipeline.
Yep. Casper says Netflix has its own imaging pipeline, the camera choices for their own programs. So
there you go.
There you go. Casper, you're a well-informed person. Thank you. The final look was amazing. Great job. Thank you, Aaron. Of course, you can't grade much with ProRes. Yeah.
We did all
right. Didn't have any problems with it.
We didn't have any problems.
I
mean, again, it depends how much you want to grade. We're not fans of big grading. So we didn't want to put like cyan and blues in the shadows and, you know, that modern grade where we didn't want to do that. We wanted to shoot almost like shooting on film, old days. We wanted to light with color, be dynamic, add a bit of contrast and saturation and go with it.
Casper says he's got interesting info. IMAX film is at a ratio of 1.4 to 1. The Arri 65 is 1.9 to 1. However, everyone seems to forget you can match the crop factor in your focal length to achieve the same perspective.
He knows what he's talking
Resolution has nothing to do with this, as IMAX film is scanned for digital playback. Whatever pixel number you end up choosing has no bearing on any large format.
Well, there you go. See, that's the thing. Like, unless you're doing a IMAX projection, then it's pixel for pixel, isn't it?
Paper Comics.
Interesting.
Thanks,
Casper. Good to know.
I can't wait for you guys to do a Star Wars. I've seen what you guys do with a small budget. I can't imagine 100 million. Best of luck to both of you.
Man, I would Star Wars.
And we have Star Wars calendars up on our wall, so we are super duper Star Wars fans. And here you go. Who's that?
He kept me. He was forcing me through the edit.
Forcing you. Did you do that on purpose?
No, I didn't.
Wow, accidental pun.
That would be.
Thank you. An utter dream, but hey,
you're very kind. Thank you.
It's a long way to go, I think, before we get
Leicester or Man City.
Controversial, not major football fans. However, West Brom. Less romanticity, yeah.
Your Birmingham accent is showing through.
Is it really?
There we go.
Bless.
We're all right. We're proud to be from Birmingham.
I'm working on a feature film myself. Was interested how much did you have to spend on marketing relative to the distributor? We don't. I'm going to how to spend on marketing relative to the distributor.
The world needs a Gremlins reboot.
Yeah, I think it does actually. By the way, sorry, I'm being completely distracted. I watched Gremlins the other day, and I was like, you know what? This needs to be redone. I don't agree with many reboots, but I think they could go for that. They could actually do a lot with Gremlins.
Go back to Ryan.
Ryan says, I'm working on a feature myself. Interested in how much did you spend on marketing relative to the distributor? We don't actually, we have a marketing cap for the distributor that we know they can't go beyond, but we don't know how much they spent on marketing in the lead up to the release of Cosmos. They will tell us. It's all very transparent and everything. But any marketing that you saw was likely from us. Our distributor, Gravitas Ventures, and many other distributors acquiring and distributing indie content of this scale have a similar strategy, and that is that the filmmakers themselves know their audience, they know their movie better than anybody else, and to keep everything affordable and costs low, they let the filmmakers engage their community, which has its pluses and its cons, its pros and its cons. But yeah, we cut all of our trailers and we made all of our posters and any featurettes and anything like that. We did that ourselves, and we did spend some money on Facebook ads, a few £100 here and there. Nothing major, it's quite affordable and you can get in front of a lot of people. But
sorry to interrupt. Our Instagram live stream is about to end. We will reboot now.
So yeah, big Facebook was somewhere we spent a lot of time. Instagram and Facebook are the two platforms we found that had the most interaction and interest. So we put some money into some ads there, but nothing. Again, it was just our own money. It wasn't like thousands and thousands of pounds. It was just like a few £100 over a course of like 2 months.
Lee asked which one of us is from the dark side.
Definitely you.
Yeah. I'm Red Lightsaber.
Definitely Elliot. I'm Luke. He's Han. Now that's cool because everyone loves Han. I think I'm pure. He's the older, cynical brother.
Corrupt.
What else have we got going on here? I haven't seen the movie yet, but my God, it looks amazing. Wow, thank you, Norm. Wow. I just bought the BMPCC original, and I hope I can work some amazing movie magic like you guys did.
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
It's an incredible camera.
It's cool. Biggest piece of advice for that would be set something at night. It will hide all of the.
Hello, Warren boys.
Hello, Wazzers.
You just missed it. I'm from the dark side, apparently, according to Zan.
Elliot's from the dark side. Yeah, definitely. My tip for getting the most out of the BMPCC would be, shoot something set at night, turn all your lights off, start lighting creatively, and hide those. I remember Ridley Scott talking about Blade Runner. He was like, "There's so much rain and fog because it hid all of the crimes of the set. All of the flaws in the set." So very much that's a great way of adding production value. Turn your lights off and then turn them back on.
We have another question here. BMCC 2.5K with a Super 16 Bolex lens gives a really cool aesthetic.
Wow.
And that's what I'll be looking. That's what I'll be shooting locks inside on. I will definitely look into DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, super scale. Look it up. You'll be blown away. Just YouTube it. There's tutorials. I mean, it blew our mind.
Aaron's doing his bit, or Aaron. Norm, go watch the film today. Why not?
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks so much for the advice. No problem, Norm. Thanks for joining us and thanks for your interest and support. Are you more sci-fi movie makers or would you do different avenues? At the moment, I think sci-fi because it's a good thing that you can do with very little. You can tell a great story without a huge budget. That's why we did sci-fi, and we love sci-fi. But we also have ideas for all sorts of films, but definitely in the kind of adventure, fun category. Let's say we want to tell kind of fantasy, not fantasy in terms of Lord of the Rings, but we want to tell those stories that are fantastical.
Adventure films.
Either that or it's true stories. Those are both amazing avenues to explore. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Really, we'll keep you all updated, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you along on the journey because we're hopeful. We think we're gonna.
We were talking to Arjun today. We met up with Arjun because we go bouldering with him, and we were saying that one of the things we hope we can do is that we hope we can show you what the next step, the next steps that open up to us because of Cosmos. Because if we can do that, then it will perhaps be like the final element of proof, or not the final element of proof, but like the final detail that might help people follow a similar path.
Yeah,
and go, actually, do you know what? This is worth doing. You know, there's proof there that you can make your film and get some traction and be seen. And if we can provide that reference for other filmmakers, then I feel like we truly will have achieved our goal.
Yep.
We will have made a film, and we will have shared the whole journey, and we will have shown other filmmakers that it's worth doing, and you can, that you can go and scale up. So that's the last thing we really want to try and achieve and share.
Yeah.
Garth says he's out. He's off to sleep.
Garth, thank you for joining us. Norm's going to check out the film. Thank you very much, Norm. Javier says, will you continue to use the original BMPCC?
Perhaps.
Yeah, we will. I mean, we used it for documentaries as well,
Yeah,
for our TV documentaries. So if we're going to make shorts and things, we might make some shorts in the time off that we've got now. I don't know. But yeah, I certainly recommend people to use it. It's got a special place in our hearts, that camera. Johnny says, did you find it hard to actually get in contact with and build a relationship with the distributor? We went through about 2 to 3 before we actually found one that fit for us. What about you?
Similar.
Yeah, it's not a simple process, but we didn't engage a sales agent, so we didn't have someone brokering a deal for us. So yeah, it was a process of back and forth and emails, and we made a list of a lot of distributors. We actually got the one we were hoping for, so that was a thrill. But yeah, it wasn't simple, and it wasn't easy, but we did it, and hopefully that's a reference for other people that you can do it too with enough persistence.
Someone says, Michael says, are you going to show your editing VFX sound mix workflow tutorials in the future? Yeah, yes, hopefully. Yes. So one thing we want to do, as Xander mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, is we want to make a tutorial series, maybe a 5-part series about low budget indie filmmaking, where we can show some of the things that we've learned and some of the things that we would give advice about. Hopefully we'll make our next film, and these are some of the things that we'll take forward, and it would be great to share with you. But we also want to make a longer making of documentary as well, maybe a 50-minute or a 1-hour making of about Cosmos specifically. So we will hopefully share all that, the VFX, the sound mix, the editing. I mean, we basically did everything that any other film would do. We didn't reinvent the wheel or anything. We would look at the workflows of bigger movies and try and copy them to the best of our ability. They rip out all the location sound other than the dialogue. Okay, we'll do that. They Foley everything. Okay, we'll do that. They score it this way. Okay, we'll do that. So hopefully we can share that. We probably won't be on for much longer.
No, we won't. Yeah,
I don't think
we'll probably wrap it up in the next kind of
too long.
10 minutes or so. So if you've got any other questions, drop them in. Mark says, I know your dad was a cameraman. Did you learn from him, or did you study at uni? We didn't go to university. We chose not to. We wanted to just go straight into TV. Actually, at the time was our start, but it wasn't. We started very low down the ladder and worked as freelancers and stuff. But yeah, our dad, he was a cameraman, a very, very talented film documentary cameraman, and he actually did. He was a director of photography for a couple of independent films as well in the 90s. So yeah, he was a huge inspiration for us, and we always say this, that we never did any formal training with him. He never kind of sat us down and went this is how you light something, this is how you use a camera. It was more the reference that he gave us, that you can, if you want to pursue a career in film or television, then you can definitely do that. And it was a huge inspiration, and obviously would encourage us to make movies and would help us with our shorts when we were kids. And we learned a lot just by playing, really. The whole this is why filmmaking means such a lot to us, actually. it's very much a family, has deep connections with our family. And if you watch Cosmos and you feel that it's kind of pumped full of emotion and it's got character and heart in it, that's why, because films, Cosmos is like our love letter to movies, and we've grown up loving movies and making movies with our dad and our mom, and now we've made our first feature film. So yeah, Dad, we learned a hell of a lot from our dad, and hopefully we can share some of that we learnt with
his knowledge passed through
his
us.
legacy.
So here's our Cosmos clapperboard look.
Yep.
And here he is, still on the clapperboard look. So he was in every frame of the film.
He was,
and he was there guiding us and making sure our shots were in focus. And there's nothing more criminal than a soft shot. Not that he was ever that hard, but we were just like, do it for Dad, do our best. And his name,
he was amazing. Like his
name's there as
yeah, he was a documentary film cameraman, and he worked on some incredible documentaries, and he had an incredible career traveling the world, meeting people and doing amazing things. And the stories that he shared with us when we were boys were totally inspiring. But the great thing was that we never felt like he wasn't part of the family, he wasn't present, because he, although he was working really hard to give us a good upbringing, he was a very attentive dad, and we had a lot of fun together. So big inspiration. Mark says, I'm sure he's very proud of you both. Thank you, Mark.
What was the first thing you did for TV?
We've got 2 questions there. What was the first thing you did for TV? I took pictures of.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Yeah, on a Discovery Channel TV show. I took some behind the scenes photos.
That's more glamorous than the first thing I did.
Yeah.
I did work experience. What did you do? Was that your work experience?
Yeah, that was my work experience.
When I did work experience, I did when I was 16. I worked for a company based in the Midlands, and we did an advert, or they were doing an advert for Drayton Manor a theme park, which is in the UK, and they needed a shot of someone on a ride. Like these rides that are like big pendulums, and they swing round and round.
Yeah, wasn't it a ship? Was it a ship? I thought it was a ship.
No, it wasn't. They had hanging feet, and they magic armed like a camera, like almost like an over-the-shoulder camera.
Yeah.
Over-the-shoulder shot. And they needed like someone's feet like flailing up into frame. And that I was on that job as an assistant. But they were like, Elliot, get on the ride. I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't like roller coasters at that time. So that was, and it was like, whoa. Really? Yeah. Wow. I did a couple of things like that I shouldn't really have done. Like,
just got bullied into it.
I remember I moved a potted palm. I did a job very early on. I think I'd left school actually. And I was like just a production assistant. I wasn't being paid. I was making teas and generally getting in the way, most likely. And I remember the director went, Elliot, move that palm. And it was a huge palm tree, and I moved it, and I really hurt my back. And there was a guy on the crew, and he was like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, don't do that. Yeah. Don't get told to move things just because you're just some low-ranking kid. Like, he was like, that was really bad of the director to ask you to do that because it needed a couple of big men to move it, and you've now hurt your back. Yeah. So yeah, I also then wrote on, it was quite funny because I kind of had the last laugh. I was on the clapperboard, and I wrote on the guy's clapperboard in a permanent pen. So by accident, which was rather nerve-wracking, but it was on the same job.
Eamon says, "What I know we've talked, but I had to say again that you guys are the absolute best. Some of the best filmmakers I could think of. Would still love to work with you in the future. Thank you, man. Likewise.
Well, we'd love to work with you. We love connecting with fellow filmmakers. And
we've got here, what genre of film work did you do before making Cosmos, e.g. documentary and shorts? So film related, we did shorts. We made a short film through our high school years called The Price of Freedom, which is available online. We made that.
Vimeo?
Yeah, it's on Vimeo. Between the ages of I was between the age of maybe 12 and 19. And we did it all through school. And no, it finished the year after I left school.
Will you be 18?
Okay, fine, 18 then. And that was a period drama. That was a short film, and we thought we'd tell a story using the poetry from the First World War to try and have a narrative in a movie. So we were making a no-budget First World War movie. You can check it out for yourselves and let us know what you think. We were teenagers. I think we did a pretty cool job considering we were balancing GCSEs and A-levels and having a social life. with making a short film at school. I think it was ambitious, and I think we did a great job. I look back with it with pride. Maybe one day we'll be able to make a big budget version.
You've actually said that, haven't we?
That would be a dream.
Then we made a proof of concept film for Encounter.
We did,
which was obviously sci-fi. It was like almost like the hook of Encounter as a pitch project to be able to go, hey, here's the hook of Encounter. What do you think of it? We also made on 16mm a Victorian ghost film. Yeah. People have asked early on, where did the inspiration for Cosmos come? One of the we bought some 16mm film for Christmas once as like a treat to be able to do a little camera test. And we had this film, and we thought, instead of making just a camera test and filming leaves and sunsets and whatever, raindrops, can we make a short? So we had 20 minutes of stock. We made a 10-minute short film. And one of the ideas we came up with for that short was an astronomer listening to space. And that was put on the shelf in favor of a Victorian ghost film, because we wanted to have a guy walking around with a candle. And that's available on Vimeo also. And then we also did in 2015, we did another war poem film. That's called Assault on the Senses, which is a poem that Xander wrote.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I never connected.
Yeah, it's another war poem.
Wow.
That was actually the last thing that our dad helped us on as well.
Yeah. Assault on the Senses.
It's lovely.
Actually, I'm quite proud of it. It was kind of a camera test.
It was a camera test for Black Magic. Yeah. Low light camera test.
But that's it, really. And then documentaries. We've made 9 hours of TV documentaries between like 2012 and 2015. So
about 4 shorts and then the feature.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, the feature Cosmos was the first time Xander and I ever directed 2 actors talking to one another in dialogue.
Yeah.
So we were jumping in really at the deep end. But
Madison has joined us. Hello, Maddie.
Hello, Maddie.
Thank you for joining us.
How was work?
Love the film, guys. Inspirational. And Mark says, on a final note, great film, great story, great actors, flawless.
Wow.
Thank you,
Mark.
Thank you so
we're
much.
proud of our actors. They did really well. And for all of them, it was their big first leap into feature film acting. They had done different things. Some of them had done shorts. Arj had done some shorts. Tom and Josh had done some theatre. But none of them had done a feature film. So I think they did a fantastic job taking a character, holding on to that character, doing an arc, and such nice blokes and brilliant to work with.
Yeah.
We couldn't have asked for better.
Definitely. On that note, actually, Film Drive says, what was the greatest gift that has helped you through your guys' filmmaking process? It doesn't have to be a piece of equipment. Definitely the team. So our mom and the actors and the friends that supported us, they kept us going, and they without them, we couldn't have made the movie without the actors who are actors, but have obviously become like lifelong friends and family. They mean a huge amount to us. So that's the greatest gift that has helped us through the process.
Really?
And I think you can all probably relate to that when you make a movie. You make what friends you make. They are quite special. Looks like we've got maybe 2 more questions, and then we'll probably finish up. Enjoying seeing all the BTS. Are you all big subscribers to indie film websites and podcasts, etc.?
Yeah. Films, No Film School, Film Riot.
Yeah, we used to read No Film School, not so much these days, actually.
Geek Tyrant.
Yeah, I could do listening to some more film podcasts. So if you've got any suggestions, fire them over in a message. That would be cool.
Blockbuster was good. It's not a filmmaking podcast.
Yeah. Did you guys watch that? Blockbuster. It's about the making of. Listen to it. The making of like Star Wars and Jaws and Spielberg and
so inspiring.
Yeah,
we used to listen to a lot more than read a lot more than we do now. I mean, again, without sounding old and boring, like I kind of got bored of reading articles about resolution. I know that might rub some of you guys up there the wrong way. You might go like, that might be something you're really interested in, and if it is, great. Like those articles are for you. But for me, once I'd read like 15 articles that were all like, this camera that you bought last year is now no good, you now need this camera, I was just like, I think sometimes I love reading interviews with directors and stuff. Sometimes you get American cinematographer and all that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm not so bothered about reading about the technical side of filmmaking, really. I want to learn about the craft.
We've got some cool questions here. We'll try and answer. What's next for you guys? We've touched on this briefly. we're going to write some new scripts. We're going to create some pitch documents, some pitch material, posters, and maybe some short film content to go with that. And then we're going to go over to Los Angeles and we're going to pitch. So that's what's next. Big moment in our lives is what we've been working towards. So hopefully...
Johnny asks an interesting question.
Yeah, Johnny, how did you find going from TV doco work to feature films? We have only ever done TV doco work and are about to try and start work on our own feature film. How did you find the transition? Found it great, no problems. Nothing of note, actually. I mean, have you made any short films or films at all in the past? If so, you shouldn't have any problems. Like, if anything, I think being a documentary filmmaker makes you, I think it gives you an edge. I think it trains you to be able to turn up to a location, set up quickly. It trains your brain to like what's necessary, what doesn't need to be there, what can be cut, what's real, what feels realistic. You've talked to a lot of people in your interviews and you know what it's like to actually engage with real, true stories. So I think documentaries is a really good foundation for like film work, for drama. Personally, I think that, and some of the best DOPs like Roger Deakins and stuff, they came from documentary. So that's pretty sweet.
Thomas Michael asks, do you go back and rewrite the Encounter script after gaining some experience on Cosmos?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Encounter will likely be one of those projects that we pitch, and we will definitely be giving it a rewrite because we actually wrote that script in 2000. We finished that script in 2010, so it's almost been 10 years since we finished Encounter.
Yeah.
And so we've learned a lot, we've grown a lot. We're now 10 years older and we're different people. So I think the script could be matured, and
looking forward to trying that.
That's one of the things we'll do. So yeah, good question. You're spot on.
Last question, I think, is by Jay Bedworth. Was there ever a time where you felt like giving up? And if
good question
so,
to end
how
on.
did you overcome it? Was there ever a time where you felt like giving up? And if so, how did you overcome it?
No, there was never a time I felt like giving up. It was very, very hard.
Buller,
we're about to finish. It was very, very hard, and there were times when I felt like I wanted a break, but there was never a time when I wanted to give up. And really, honestly, that came from truly wanting to do what I want to do, which is make films. And also, we talk about this in the featurette, how we're very lucky to have one another.
Yeah.
If we were on our own, it would be very difficult. The isolation, the hard work on your own. So having one another, we can lean on each other. I'll have a bad day and Xander can come in and, give me a pep talk and pick up the slack, and vice versa. But also, we were very dedicated to making this film in tribute to our dad. And I think had he still been around when we were making the film, we would have worked as hard, but maybe we wouldn't have been so stubborn, and maybe we wouldn't have been so determined to just get on and make it. Maybe we'd have waited a little bit longer and got some extra help. Maybe we'd have gone, let's get some money. But making it for him, and at the time that we made it, we needed it. I mean, we lost him, and then a month later, we made Cosmos. We'd waited, and we delayed and hoped that he would get better so that we could make it with him. And when we lost him, the only thing that felt right was to get it done. And what he would want is he would want us to bloody get out there and make it. So I think there was never a moment ever where I was ever going to give up on this film. And if it was going to take me another 5 years, I think I'd still be doing it. I don't think I'd ever give up. So, when you make a commitment like that and you want to make a film, really the way I view it is like, I was talking to our mom the other day and I said, we've made a film in memory of the man that made us. That's how I see Cosmos. It's not just a movie. It's not just a calling card. It's not just a passion project. It's truly a dedication to our dad for everything that he gave us, for everything that he taught us, for the man he was, for the man he was potentially, should have been. We lost him very early. He was only 59. When you have that level of reason, when your why is that big enough, It's not hard to break through the pain and the hard work and the long hours. You keep picking yourself up and you keep dragging yourself back off the floor and going, no, I'm not going to give up until this is done, until it says for Dad at the end and it's projected and people can see it and people can think what they like of the film. That's fine. That's movies. They can love it. They can hate it. It's fine. It's totally cool with us. But we made this film for our dad, and by God, we were going to get it done. And if I can throw anything at you, if you want to make movies, then find your why. Dave's on here. Dave DeVos knows, another filmmaker who's been through similar things. He has time and again found a big enough why. And if you've got a big enough why, the how is not a problem. So find your reasons why. If you're in it for the fame and the fortune and the glory, they're not big enough. It's, if you're there to walk down red carpets, it ain't going to happen because it's too damn hard. It's hard. It hurts a lot. It hurts. It really does, because your passion, it hurts.
But it's worth it. So if you truly love it, then nobody can tell you or should tell you what you can or cannot do with your life. If you want to make films, then go out and make your goddamn film, right? And we will be here, and I'll be the first in line. Because as filmmakers, we all know what it takes. We all know what movies mean to each other, to one another. We're all in this together. So that's my sermon done. It's good. It's a good one. It's a good one.
So no, there was never a day when I wanted to give up. And the reason why is because I had a good enough reason to never give up. And if you can find that reason, you will get through the challenge of making a movie. And you will get to the end and show your work. And some people will love it for it. So go for it.
It's a test.
It is a test.
How much you want it.
You can't want to be a filmmaker and then not live by the rules that we see in films over and over again. Films are all about people who find themselves in circumstances where they must reach and dig down deep inside themselves and pull out of themselves a greater person. They must overcome a big challenge, and that journey turns them into something better. They find the will within themselves. You cannot love movies. You cannot want to be a film director and profess to want to tell those stories to other people if you cannot live by those rules yourself. You have to almost go like, I better walk the talk. I better be what they say I should be in the movies. So
there you go.
Sorry for the preach.
I think that was really interesting, Al. So thank you.
Sorry, feel a bit preachy, but I'm very passionate about it.
And thank you for the lovely comment, Dave. Love you muchly, man. You're a wonderful human being. Can't wait to see you again. Thank you, everybody who's joined us. Thank you, Madison, for saying we're the best. That's so cool. And thank you, Mark, for all of your support and amazing questions. Thank you, everybody. Oh, he says that was truly incredible answer. Knocked out of the park. Yeah, well done.
Many people think Cosmos should be trimmed. I'm sure that answer could be trimmed.
Maybe.
Get out there, man. Get in. Make your films. Make your films.
We're going to create more making of content. We're going to put out commentaries. We're going to put out posters. And stick with us. The journey's not over. And thank you if you've checked out the movie. Thank you. If you haven't yet reviewed it on IMDb, could you go and leave us a quick review or a rating? Be honest with it. If you think it's a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10 or whatever.
1 out of 10.
Or a 1 out of 10. Some people do. Then
of course they do.
Give us that movie. Give us that rating, please. It would really help us. Just spread the word about the film. It's more about other like-minded movie watchers going, they said that. That sounds like my kind of thing. And likewise, other people who hate this kind of movie going, I'm not going to watch it because it's not my kind of thing. We want to attract our tribe, as they say. So please head over to IMDb and give us a quick rating.
Join our filmmaking community on Facebook, the Cosmos Filmmaking Network, and we can then talk about your films. You can share your work and we can sit and watch because you've been so generous in supporting us.
We've been a little bit quiet on there recently. It's just because things got really crazy, but the community's still alive and people are talking. But if we haven't been in touch or interacting that much, that's why. But we're back now. And, Christmas is coming up. So we're gonna have a nice
Time to watch some movies.
Time to watch some movies and talk movies with people who are cool. Aaron, we will be doing a making of thing, and we will talk about script writing. So thanks for valuing our opinion on that, because there are many more qualified and experienced people to want to hear from. Vincenzo, I'm going to say Vincenzo. Greetings from Ecuador. Saw the movie. It was awesome.
Wow,
Thanks,
thank you so much.
So thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful Saturday. Well, look, wonderful Sunday morning, Saturday evening, or
Saturday afternoon,
depending on where you are in the world. And cheers for checking out Cosmos. And thanks
thank
for all
you
the
for
support.
joining us. The support is, I don't know what we've done to deserve it. So thank you very much. And we'll see you all soon. Go watch a movie and remember.
Go make a movie.
Go make a movie.
See you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Make your dreams come true. Just do it.
Shia LaBeouf, everybody. Shia LaBeouf.